What is happening, people? Welcome back to the All Out Sports Talk. It's been a while since we've done one of these. Obviously, been since what 2 months, almost 2 months ago since we last did one on Christmas itself. Since we last did this, big up everyone who's locked in. Big up everyone who's tuning in. Hit the like button, and make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys get me to, or at least try and get this channel, the subscribers on this channel up to 600 subscribers. We're trying to get it. We're trying to get as closer as we can every single day. Any more new shows as well pending on this channel? You never know. Some new shows, some watch-alongs to some sports. We'll see. We'll see. We might get some. But I have Augustia back on the show. Obviously, it is our show, All Out Sports Talk. We pretty much own this. We run this, bro. We have so many podcasts. I mean, we have so many podcasts together. You know, and big up everyone inside. Big up Mr. Joshua J. People, if you are new around here, make sure you guys go subscribe to my brother at Mr. Joshua J. He does many United content, lifestyle content, and all the good stuff. Formula One, he's a Ferrari fan too. And if you're new, go subscribe to Mr. Joshua J. Big up, my guy. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're blessed. Mr. Joshua J, if you're free, I need to speak to you soon, bro. I need to speak to you on something real soon, man. Big up to you, man. Just send me a message and I'll get back to you soon. But big up to you, bro. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're blessed. Justia, let's go, man. It's been a while since we did one of these. Take it away.
Yeah, big up everyone in the chat. It is a pleasure and privilege to be back. These shows are great because even in times of turmoil, even in times of craziness and chaos, myself included, with my own brain fog, it is so fun to be back. This is a place of to de-stress, to release, and to talk about literally anything and everything in relation to the world of sport. So I love it. And speaking of things that I love, one thing that we have been loving this year, Akavin, is Man United. From
Mm-hmm.
today to the last time we had a sports talk show, it is a night and day difference in terms of what is happening on the pitch. Of course, Akavin, we can't be fully optimistic and subscribing to what's happening because off the pitch matters are still as dreadful and disastrous as they have been. But on the pitch, kudos to Michael Carrick because he has brought some stability, he has brought some autonomy, and he has actually found a way to maximize these players, make us look really robust out of position, and also on the counter look more threatening from a transitional perspective than ever before. And then we can even break teams down, which is pretty impressive. Something that most managers post Sir Alex Ferguson have failed to do. So kudos to Michael Carrick. Now, whether Michael Carrick amounts to becoming the permanent manager, probably not, but you never know. Just enjoy it. Take it one game at a time because the one thing that I love about Michael Carrick is, despite all the brilliance on the pitch, most of his quotes, Ekevin, compared to his predecessors like Ruben Amorim, compared to Eric Ten Hag, compared to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, have somewhat resembled the standards we expect. Win now, win every single time. No excuses, just victory. And I absolutely love that. So when it comes to Man United, Ekevin, we open up with what is closest to our heart. We bleed red. We are Man United fans. I think it's going to be one of our best seasons post Sir Alex Ferguson. Obviously, the
Mm.
bar is not for that, but enjoy every game because you never. I don't know the next time we're going to go into games feeling this confident for them. The aim is to always come back to the top, but in the short term, as an interim manager, Michael Carrick has produced a masterpiece, and we will enjoy it as it goes.
Exactly, bro. 100%, man. You're not wrong there. Spot on. I agree, man. Michael Carrick has definitely been a breath of fresh air at Man United. I think it's been a huge breath of fresh air because of the football he's playing, the results that he's getting against the sides that you don't you expect to not really expect to get results, but it's typical of Man United to get results against the big sides, isn't it? It's typical of Man United to go to Anfield, to go to Emirates, to go to I would say even even play at home against Man City or even Etihad and get a result. Why is because Man United are built on beating these big sides, winning trophies. Unfortunately, we cannot win a trophy this year. Unfortunately for us, Man United cannot win a trophy this season no more. Unless somehow miraculously Arsenal just go and drop points, United go and gain points on Man City and whatnot. All of a sudden, we find ourselves in the title race. But that's not going to happen. Let's not get our hopes up. It was looking like that for a little bit, at least. and then all of a sudden we just decided to drop points on our own. Look, West Ham away was never going to be an easy game. It was always going to be a game full of, it was always going to be a game of battle and scrap. That's how I felt about it, at least. Instead, it's just we didn't. How do you say it? We didn't at least. We didn't lose. That's how I'll say it. We didn't lose. But at the same time, we can't just look at, this and be like, it's a bad thing. We drop points, but you can't look at it being a bad thing. Mentality to get back into the game is there. You could see it, Augustin. The mentality is there for the players. We didn't lose, but we decided to get back into the game with the mentality that this football club has. Big time.
Yep.
So like I said, I'm happy so far. I'm not overly happy because, like I said, there are times where, like I said, we're not going to win a trophy, but at the end of the day, all we can say is, let's just take it one game at a time. Let's hope we finish in the Champions League. Let's hope we finish in the top 4. Let's hope we get back into the Champions League next season so we can try and buy better players. That's the aim of Man United, isn't it, Augusta? To try and build the biggest and the best, and to try and get the best of the best. But at the end of the day, can we trust our board to do that? It's a different question. It's only a different question when our board decides to act and our board decides to make a movement. And with the quotes of Sir Jim Ratcliffe as of late, I don't think the United fans are going to be happy with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. So, look, yes, let's just get back into the Champions League this season. See where we end up next season. That's just the aim for now. Look, Augusta, if the new owners decided to come in tomorrow, if Man United had a takeover tomorrow, right? If a rich billionaire Arab owner came in and said, "I'm going to rebuild this football club. Get me Champions League football. Get us back into the Champions League, and I'll rebuild this football club back to the very top." I will celebrate that Champions League qualification like it's a fucking trophy. Why? Because I can trust that owner to build my football club. I can't trust the current dross. I can't trust the Glazers. I can't trust Ineos to rebuild my football club. You know what I'm trying to say? I can't trust that. I can only trust what I see and what's there in front of me. That's how I think about it. But the players we brought in, Brandon Buemo has been a fan favorite. Mateus Cunha has been doing well. Benjamin Sesko has been scoring late goals.
Yes.
Casemiro, it's a shame he's leaving, man. It's a huge shame he's leaving because I really like Casemiro. I really like the guy. It's a shame he's leaving. Bruno Fernandes has found a new lease of life, been playing in his best position, been absolutely just balling out, man. Playing in that number 10 has just really helped us going forward, man. Big time. And then you also have Amad Diallo you can bring him off the bench, or you can start him. There's depth on that right-hand side. Even Shea Lacey, you can give him some minutes as well. Sometimes you can bring him into the team as well, give him a run-up. And like I said, Kobe Mainu brought back into the team. And look at Kobe Mainu now. A certain somebody said he had to fight with Bruno Fernandes for that position. Look at that. Then played together, absolutely balling out. It's just refreshing to listen to, isn't it? It's just like some guy has come in and pretended that the standards didn't match his standards, but his standards match fucking relegation standards. You know what I mean? Ruben Amorim really took this club to nearly took this club to relegation. If Leicester, Ipswich, and Southampton weren't as bad as they were, bro, we would have been in the championship this season.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I will say this: if getting to the championship meant we got the Glazers sacked, I will take it. But it's not Man United. This ain't Manchester United. Now we're starting to see the Manchester United of old again, starting to win matches when we need to. Cool, that guy did get his haircut for 5 games in a row, but why is all of a sudden that Man United 5 games in a row revolving around that guy? It's supposed to revolve around Manchester United. Big up to Frank. Big up to what he's doing. Big up to this. Big up to the United Strand. Big up to what he's been doing. Big up to how do you say it? Big up to his foundation, and big up to what he's been doing for charity. Big up to everything he's been doing for like United Strand. 5 games in a row. Keep doing it. Just go on. But don't revolve the Manchester United game around him, please. This is about Manchester United. Cool, if we win 5 games in a row, we can talk about that haircut after the game. It shouldn't have to be revolved around him during the game, mate. You know what I mean? So, yeah. At the end of the day, that's just how I see it, man. Standards are starting to get back. United fans are starting to be upset with draws again. I'm starting to see the standards get back to what it used to be again. So, like I said, go into the summer, get back to the Champions League, get the right hire done, and we'll go from there. So that's how I think about it. Anything more you want to add on United?
Yeah, I agree with you. Everything you said. There are multiple ways of looking at it. Like I said, long term, Ekevin, you hit the nail on the head. The aim is to win the biggest and the best trophies, right? It's to win the Premier League. It's to win the Champions League. So we won't ever have that sense of enlightenment and fulfillment until Man United do that. Because with the history, with the heritage, and with the capital that this club have, winning is the only successful option, right? And everything else is unsatisfactory. But again, that's at the moment this season, you can only control what you can control. You can't control the past, you can control the present. And you can work your way to build towards the future. And in the present, Ekipin, as you said, till the end of the season, we can't compete for any trophies. That's a tragedy. But that's not the fault of the current coach. That's not Michael Carrick's fault. And also, if we're just talking about what Michael Carrick has done for the club, in terms of net positives, he probably is the most net positive reign so far among any manager post Sir Alex Ferguson. The least flaws, the highest success. I mean, the biggest difference between him and Ruben Amorim, just on a micro level, is obviously that tactically, despite Ruben Amorim being a tremendous manager at Sporting Lisbon, he has shown that he can be a very good manager. And if his system can succeed, no doubt on its day, he can beat anyone and everyone. In fact, he can probably win league titles. But the difference is, it's not about what your system is, it's what you work with the surroundings you have. And Michael Carrick, with the surroundings that he has had, he tried to maximize the best out of his players, right? Play with emotion, play with their experience, play with their capabilities. Sorry about that. Rather than what Ruben Amorim was trying to do, be very rigid tactically. And Ekevin, as you said, look at the players, even Dorgu. You mentioned a bunch of players. Patrick Dorgu is case in point. Completely rejuvenated. It is such. Yeah, he has become a winger. And by the way, the games that he played, like Arsenal, he was stunning. It wasn't just the goals that were spectacular. It was the overall play. He was involved. He was intimate with the play. He was progressing the ball. I mean, Patrick Dorgu looked like a world-class player. He looked world-class. And that goes to the point. Players like Šeško have been revitalized. Players like Cunha and Mbeumo capitalizing on those half spaces, making the right runs, getting the service from none other than Magnifico himself, Bruno Fernandes, who, by the way, I believe, without a doubt, is one of the best players in the world today. I don't think there's any doubt in that. He has always had the output. The output has never been an issue. He is a chance-creating machine, sometimes too much of a grenade rather than actual succinct passages of play.
Not anymore.
Yes, but like I've said for many years, of course I'm not justifying the unjustifiable. Bruno Fernandes has been petulant. He has been immature. He has had moments when he can absolutely look at the mirror and be like, I am not a captain. I am not a leader. But under Michael Carrick, this season, these past few months, every single time Man United have needed him, more times than not, he has been there. And he has been linking up the play. He has been leading the team. He has been producing some moments of technical class and quality, like against Fulham, when we came back, that Šeško goal in the dying embers.
Just the dummy. Just look at the half turn. Just look at
the turn, the dummy. I mean, it is just sensational. That is Man United at its peak. And you hit the nail, Ekevin. What Michael Carrick did was not systems. It was bringing back the standards and allowing Man United to do what they do best, creativity. Players aren't. Yeah, go on.
Keeping it simple. Keeping the basics right. Bro, he's playing the players to their strengths. He's playing Cunha to his strengths and Mbeumo to his strengths. Bruno Fernandes to his strength, Kobe Mainu, Casemiro, Amad Diallo to their strengths. Even Diogo Dalot, who I've been a huge critic of in the last few games, in the last year and a half or so. He's looked a lot better in the last few games too. Even Dorgu, before he got his 10-week injury, has been balling out. He's been absolutely balling out. And Luke Shaw, not great, but still not doing too bad. Maguire, not great, but still not doing too bad either. Lisandro Martinez, not amazing, but still doing his job. Why? It's because he's being told to do the basics and do what he's required to do what he's best at doing on the pitch. Once you keep that simple and once you ensure that happens, what are you going to get? The best out of your current players. You're going to get the best out of. You're going to get the best quality. You're going to get the best out of what you have. And what does that lead to? Results. Football's a results-based business. You're supposed to get results. Stop worrying about systems, styles of play, and all that crap. Oh, we have to play to stick to this formation. Or no, change it up, bro. Michael Carrick played a 3 at the back formation. Why? Because he subbed off defenders and brought on attackers only. Amram was bringing on defenders. There's a difference. Amram was bringing on defenders, Augustia. Ruben Amram was bringing on defenders for attackers when we needed a goal. Carrick is bringing on attackers for defenders when we need a goal. There's a huge difference. Even Darren Fletcher in the 2-game spell, cool, he lost the FA Cup game. But even that Burnley game, you go see how many chances we created, how many attempts we had on goal. 38 attempts. Why? It's because he brought on attackers only when we were trying to chase a game. Don't bring on a defender when you're trying to chase a game. This is not what he's supposed to do. And look, and this is exactly what I'm trying to say, bro. You know what I mean? This is exactly what I'm trying to say. Get the basics right, and you will get results. And that's what Michael Carrick has done. I just wish he got here earlier because he'd have been in charge for the FA Cup match between United and Brighton. Because we'd have gone to the next round, in my opinion, had he been here. It's a shame he didn't get hired by then. But look, it is what it is. And I'm just glad that United are finally getting shit done. And like I said, for the rest of the season, let's just get back into the Champions League, mate. Let's just get back into the Champions League. That should be the aim for this football club now. Unfortunately for the season, it has to be that. We can't win anything. It's unfortunate. I would love to see us getting Champions League qualification, add a silverware to that. Let's not celebrate it like a silverware, but add a silverware to that. It's a shame we're not in the FA Cup. It's a shame we weren't in it's a shame we didn't win that Europa League last season. You know? Because what really could have been should have been. I'm just saying it. But sorry, bro. I didn't mean to cut you off earlier. Go on, please.
No. It was actually beautiful to listen to you. It was passionate and logical. It made sense, everything you just said there. And I agree with you. At the heart of it, what Michael Carrick did, he brought United back to United from man divided, from man petulant, whatever term you want to use to describe what it was, dysfunctional. He brought some function and stability because he brought the best out of the people that he had, right?
Exactly.
He wasn't rigid to his ways. He wasn't trying to say it's only my way. It was the United way, not the Ruben Amorim way, not the Ten Hag way, the Michael Carrick way. And that's why going from that 3 at the back that Ruben Amorim had, that very stubborn formation that obviously did not work with the players in the squad. I mean, Bruno Fernandes was case in point. He had his moments, but at the heart of it, you're not maximizing what Bruno Fernandes did at all. Yeah. And it's not as fluid for Bruno Fernandes. It's not as free for Bruno Fernandes. It lacks structure and freedom at the same time. Those are not contradictory terms. And Michael Carrick shifting to a very flexible 4-2-3-1, and then sometimes goes into a 3-5-2 in possession, is beautiful. It worked masterful for him. And Bruno Fernandes is chasing that record, that assist record. He might get it, Ekavin. You never know. He might get that assist record. It's Thierry Henry's illustrious assist record, I think, stands at 20. So for Man United, yes, it is about qualifying for the Champions League. Yes, it is about winning trophies. But I wouldn't even worry about that if I'm Michael Carrick. If I'm Michael Carrick, my role is interim manager. If you think about other things, you're going to hinder your progress and hinder the impact that you have had on the club. So how Michael Carrick needs to operate is take it on a game-by-game basis, because that's exactly why we've won. He took it by the City game. We dominated them. One of the most dominant displays. Arguably one of the biggest and worst times Pep Guardiola has ever been dominated. Then we went to Arsenal. Our game plan changed a little bit, adapted to facing Arsenal at the Emirates. We were ruthless in transition. We were also fearless with the ball. We were very, very quick. Our passages of play as well were stunning. And then we go to Fulham, then we go to Tottenham, then we go to West Ham. Take it by a game basis. Big up, Sunkit. Pleasure to see you in the chat. So, yeah. And above all, as United fans, every week when we watch United, we don't want to come into the games stressful. We don't want to come into the games sad. We want to leave the games feeling hopeful. We want to leave the games feeling happy. And that's what Michael Carrick has restored. That emotion, Ekevin, that emotion that us Man United fans have had. You know, all the tensions, all the turbulence with the owners, whether it's the Glazers or Jim Ratcliffe, these past 15 years of them leeching the football club, exploiting it as a cash cow rather than a competitive beast itself, that has always translated onto the pitch. Because while I love Jose Mourinho, and I think Jose Mourinho is absolutely the best manager post Sir Alex Ferguson, I admire him deeply. He is probably, if you talk about winning standards in football history, the personification of it. Even when you watch Jose, even when you watch Ollie, even when you watch Van Gaal, even the good times, you could see that trepidation with the ownership. That disconnect was always on the pitch because those managers never got what they wanted fully. Whereas with Michael Carrick, if he just focuses as an interim manager, just focuses on what he does as a coach, not a manager, not the managing the entire club, we can actually watch 90 minutes every single weekend, Ekevin, and enjoy it and embrace it. Because after Arsenal, because after City, I actually had more joy than when we beat Liverpool. I had more joy than when we beat City in the FA Cup, because it felt like watching the club that I supported as a kid. It felt like I was a kid once again, my inner child, my boy, the boy in me, the little kid in me.
To win these games that we expected to win these games we were supposed to win. We're expected to win these games again. Like when did we have that feeling? You know, when United were touted to, oh, we're not favorites to win this game, that game. We're expected to win these games now, bro. People talking about us being favorites, bro. Every time we were favorites under Ruben Amorim, we crumbled. But now we're favorites, and I'm just like, yo. I'm just like, that's how you do it, man. That's how you do it, bro. This is how you get results. You know, by keeping it the most simple. And yeah. Sorry, how are we going to beat Pakistan? Yes, bro, we did. We beat Pakistan, bro. Yes. Bro, I don't care. You love to see it. You love
belt
to see
to
it.
The weight, whipping session.
Love it. Absolute belt to ass, bro. Do you see the way Pakistan batted, bro? They were absolutely dog shit. Bro, they were horrible. Bro, that was one of the worst batting sessions I've ever seen from an opponent ever. That's not how you turn up in a rivalry match. You know? It is what it is. I just love beating Pakistan every single time anyways. Big up my guy Manj every single time. Big up my brother. If you want to hear Bruno Fernandes land, tune into the channel on Friday. This guy, man. But anyways, continue, bro. Augusta, please. Continue.
Yeah, so big up to everyone in the chat. W India for the victory. But yeah, I just think all the talk about United, it's the right talk. From the manager is doing a very good job, and just stay being an interim manager. And the rest of it, although the one thing I must say is bothering me, you alluded to it briefly, was the United Strand stuff. I'm sure you saw Mateus Cunha's quotes. I'm sure, and for those who don't know in the chat, Mateus Cunha basically came out and talked.
I was literally just reading it just now as I was.
Oh wow!
I just read it, so you brought up at the right time.
I'm a mystic, right? I'm a mystic. I'm a magician. But no, jokes aside, yeah, Mateus Cunha was basically, and many United players have. I know ex-players like Wayne Rooney have also gotten in the fray of this, but they have basically been critical of the United strand, and they have talked about how it's added pressure. I must say, that attitude to me is a bit concerning. It is actually quite defeated, because we talked about it. You can only control what you can control. You cannot, everything else is an influence. You choose to let that influence you. That haircut should have no bearing on what you do whatsoever. If anything, it should be an incentive. It should not be a pressure towards you. You are paid millions of dollars, millions of pounds every single year. And to let a haircut destroy all the objectives, all the purpose of this football club to win
Something
matches,
that
to be the best. It just seems a little bit like scapegoating, and it feeds into the mindset of us versus them, dividing the fan base as well, and distracting them away from the roots of the club's problem. So,
yeah,
look, I get what people are saying, of course, but don't let, and also with the United strand, real quick, Ekevin, you're right. I have no malice. I have no shade. I have no hatred to the guy at all. He is living his life. He produced a
he's doing,
masterstroke.
he's doing it for
Yeah,
fun.
it started off as something sincere, and it has still stayed something sincere. He has stuck to the principles of that challenge, which was 5 wins till a haircut. Nobody
Yeah,
anticipated it to ever get this big. And then when it got big, he did the right thing. He capitalized on the exposure. I mean, who wouldn't in that position? He didn't betray
yeah,
anyone. He didn't lose any
no,
friends. And the best part is, while everyone has been talking down on him, he hasn't even criticized Wayne Rooney. He hasn't even criticized Mateus Cunha. Even Bruno Fernandes came out and said, I don't care about him at all. He has still only supported the team. He has his rhetoric has put the team first. So I think all the talk about him, all the criticism about him, is more tailored and targeted towards the media than the man himself. That's how I see it. And blame the media then. The media is operated on dopamine. It's operated on divisiveness rather than actual intellectual feel-good stories as well. So, look, kudos to the United strand on doing it. And if you're a player at Man United, that should be an incentive. That should not put any more pressure on you because, frankly, you're being paid to win for this football club. Your livelihoods are on the line to win. That should be the utmost pressure, not a man trying to get a haircut.
no pun intended.
Fully pun intended.
Frankly,
Exactly. You know me.
no, but I was just gonna say, like, if you guys want to see any, if you guys want to see an interview with the United Strand in the future, hey, let me know in it. Let me know if you want to see if you want to see an interview with him in the future. You want to see him on the Red Army Run pod doing previews with me. Hey, people, let me know. But also, I just want to say, like, how can people let strands of hair put pressure on you kicking a fucking football? Like, it just doesn't make sense. How can strands of hair put pressure on you kicking a fucking football? I don't agree with what Mateus Cunha said about pressure of a haircut. The whole context to it is that you only care about United getting 15 points, and I get that. But don't even mention the word pressure when it comes to all this. It just blows out of proportion. It just completely goes the wrong direction, and you're gonna look bad. And this is why I'm saying, like, I just don't agree with it all. Like I said, don't let strands of hair put pressure on you kicking a fucking football. You're there to do your job. You're there to get results. And this is why I mentioned that. Do not let the haircut revolve around that result. It's about you, Man United, what you do on the pitch. We weren't good against West Ham ourselves. We weren't amazing against West Ham ourselves, but we still did a job to nick a point. Right? So the resilience of the character there it's better. It's better. But don't let strands of hair put pressure on you kicking a fucking football. That's all I really
That should be
say.
clear.
Did you see the Madrid matches today? No, I didn't, bro. I did. I saw the result though. I saw the result. It's a 4-1 win. Vinicius Junior scored 2 penalties. When West Ham scored 1 goal, I see the smile on United Strand's face. Nah, he wasn't smiling. He wasn't smiling, bro. He wasn't smiling, bro. Trust me.
But you know what? Even then, for him, if of course he's watching, you never know. Dude, it's okay. It creates more exposure. At the heart, you know what you believe in, and you know what you're doing. So kudos to you, man. You're living your best life. And if your idols are criticizing you, it's a reflection of them. It's not a reflection of you. You are literally just following the challenge you created when you were a no name, to put it bluntly. Of course, no one's a no name. Everyone has a complex past, present, and future. But dude, you're doing what you set out to do. You didn't change. The world just changed because you got too big. So, and you see similarities in United and Madrid. Both teams are vulnerable against low block teams. Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, even under Zidane, even under Ancelotti, Madrid haven't been a ball dominant team, right? They have always been more about transitions as well. And with United, we've always had this problem. I think Sir Alex Ferguson was the last manager, and Ollie maybe in the pandemic, where we could actually break teams down ruthlessly and relentlessly. And Carrick somewhat was able to do that against Fulham. Against Tottenham, we were just brutal. But
Yeah.
Tottenham with Thomas Frank, they were just a train wreck. No full disrespect actually. Yeah, full disrespect to Tottenham. And then yeah, sorry, go on.
Thomas the Frank engine.
Exactly. Yeah, Thomas the Train. That's exactly what they are.
That's exactly
And
that's somebody calls him. Somebody calls him that.
exactly. But no, so I think with United, that's a great comparison, Sankit. I agree with you. But we seem to be breaking teams down a lot better. Now, what's happening in Madrid this season, I can't tell you as much, but they don't also seem to be having some troubles lately. Right, Ekevin? Madrid seem to be having some troubles lately.
Yeah. Madrid have just been inconsistent. Hella inconsistent. Their attack, there's just no chemistry in their attack. There's just no, there's no link up. Vinny is on the left, Mbappe's on the left. They're all on the same side. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to play players differently. You can't play them together, in my opinion. We'll get to Madrid in another show. But yeah, I mean, Carrick's Man United. I think that's, unless you want to add any more, that's kind of all I have to say. Really, to be fair with you.
No, just Michael Carrick, keep doing what you're doing. Be the coach of the team. Install the standards, and play for success in every single game. Try to win every single game. Have nothing to lose in the game. Don't focus on being a permanent coach. Focus on the now. And if the now is really good, then the tomorrow will be even better.
Let's just get back into the Champions League, isn't it? That's the game, isn't it now?
Yeah, I mean, for him, don't even worry about the Champions League. Just worry about the next game, and then the next game right after that.
I mean, qualifying should be the goal now, isn't it?
I mean, absolutely, but I genuinely think there is no reason why we can't finish third. I think third we should absolutely be able to finish this year. And if City and Arsenal slip up,
third, fourth, or fifth.
Yeah, I mean, if we finish in the top 5, if we get Champions League, it's a good season for Carrick. But it would be a great season and one of the greatest seasons, given the circumstances, if City and Arsenal slip up and we just focus on winning. So you never know. Under pressure, Mikel Arteta and Arsenal, they are notorious for choking. And then Manchester City, Ekevin, of course, they're in a transition phase. Even though they're, 4 points behind Arsenal now, in that last month, they haven't gotten the results that probably merit being 4 points behind them. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's all good, bro. Guys, that was going to Soderbergh to Madrid. Soderbergh, we'll see what happens. I think it'll be a good signing for Madrid. But at the end of the day, I think Madrid just have to improve the defense. All right, take care, bro. Take care, thank you. What was the last? Big up to Fosi. What was the last time Champions League? We qualified for the Champions League in 2023. So there's been 3. It would be 3 years since we last played in the Champions League. We should be playing in the Champions League now, bro. But the problem is, our previous manager decided something else. Decided to lose that final. And yeah, screw him for ruining the standards of my club. Screw him for bringing somebody to United that nobody wanted. Yeah. He ruined the way I viewed my club. He can do one. Yeah. Thanks, Ruben Amorim, for absolutely nothing. Thank you for absolutely nothing, Ruben Amorim. And I'm glad you're gone. Thank you for calling out the board, but fuck off. Anyways, let's get to the rest of the football. Unless you want to move on to another topic, Augustia.
I think we've just hit the crux of it. As Man United fans, we can just take it game by game, take it week by week. 90 minutes every time Michael Carrick plays. Enjoy it. No need to think about anything outside of it. Use it as our escapism. And until the escapism turns into something excellent, which I think the only way something excellent happens, Ekevin, is if we have owners that are ambitious and with tangible objectives to get to the top. So complete systemic reform of the club, At best case scenario, we have to take it game by game. And I can I ask you one more thing about the club? Obviously, the season will end sooner than later. It's February
Yeah.
now. The next time we do a show, God knows when it will be. Um, at this point, if we don't get new owners, if it's still this dynamic of Ratcliffe and Glazers trying to take out more than they give to the club, like a parasocial relationship, fulfill their financial needs rather than the footballing element, I genuinely think the manager that would succeed under this environment is someone like a Michael Carrick. I'm not saying appoint him, but if you appoint a manager that has all these needs, like a system, for example, build a system, build a philosophy, like a Pep Guardiola, a Jurgen Klopp, something that would be obviously better than Michael Carrick, but that would be handicapped in this structure. You would need a manager that takes it game by game by game and gets the best out of the tools that he has available and has winning standards. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah. At the end of the day, like I do agree. Like we need to build a philosophy. We need to build something that we can work towards, rather than just like, all right, here's my system, 3-4-3. You guys play it. You guys do it. That's not how it should be. You can't just bring in a manager and say, all right, here's 3-4-3. Here's how I'm gonna play it. You have to play this position and play that position. We have to work towards that. We have to work towards that type of formation. We can't just work towards it with the players that can't play there. Because when he switched to a back four, we looked so good in the first half against Newcastle, but we cooked. We won 1-0, but we cooked in that first half to get the goal, to get the win. That guy tried so hard to lose that game, it was inevitable. But we ended up winning the game 1-0. So he can hold that one. Yeah? He tried desperately so hard to lose that game, but you could see the substitutions he made. And just, it's a huge breath of fresh air, man, just seeing these results now. But like I said, play the formation and play for what's right for this football club, rather than bringing in a philosophy and bringing in something that does not work. Work towards something, sure, but don't just implement it right away. Work towards that. You could play many different formations, no problem, but work towards it. Oh, excuse me. Who truly manages this club and like transfers and stuff? Isn't it the owners, president, or the manager, someone else? It's the owners and the manager, and it's the board. Owners, manager, and the board. The owners, we have two separate owners. Well, one majority owner, one minority owner. We have Ineos as the minority owner, and the Glazers as a majority shareholder. And the manager runs the football club. The manager kind of runs the transfers as well in a way. He kind of has to settle with the transfers. So in a way, you can maybe say the manager didn't get what he wanted fully, but he has to work with what he has. If you can't, then you failed.
Basically, the major shareholders inject the cash into the club. They get to decide what happens with the revenue. Even if the club generates historic revenue, they can choose whether to take it for themselves, invest it in their own lucrative businesses, or inject it back in the club. So owners decide the cash flow. Then there is the manager. The manager either coordinates with everyone, so owner, shareholders, and other roles like director of football, and also manages the players, or a coach for the squad. But then for transfers, most top level clubs today, this is more of a modern role. They have something called a director of football. And that director of football is in charge of establishing a team's identity and also their transfer policy. So that director of football would work in lockstep with the manager, with the permission of the owners, to sign X, Y, and Z. So Tifosi for Man United, Ekevin, would you agree with me? And most clubs like Manchester City, like Barcelona, it's the director of football that really leads the process of signing players, right?
No, you're right. And like, look, at the end of the day, like, what we can do now is like, is control. We can control, right? We can control. We can only control. We can only control that this club is run the way it is. It's unfortunate. Then how can they all agree on something, because they would all have different opinions? Look.
Good question.
No, that's a good question, but there's a reason why Amram got sacked, because he didn't agree with the board. He called out the board for their incompetence, and he got sacked.
The And I think Ekavin is right, but
They weren't on the same
Tifosi,
from minute one.
if we take the names away and we just talk about this structure of owner, director, football manager, how they agree is, again, it's the same with any other business, any corporation, or even like Formula One, for example. Um, like Ferrari. Ferrari have John Elkin, then they have Fred Vasseur, then they have Lewis Hamilton. How do they get to agree to do things? So of course, if you disobey the words of the owners, right? If you go against the owners, the priority of the owners, in Manchester United's case, it is profit and preserving the structures that exist, then you will be axed. Like Ruben Amorim is a great example. Ruben Amorim was shit, the worst manager in Manchester United's Premier League history. He put us to 15th place, and this season we were only getting worse. We were not improving one bit stylistically. He did not make many players. Most of the squad regressed, then progressed under him. The results, the performances, everything was getting worse under Ruben Amorim. The club was getting more toxic and divisive than ever, but they didn't sack him because of anything like that. They sacked him because he went against the word of the owners. That's why they sacked him. So, to put it bluntly, the reason they all agree on something is because as long as you don't disobey the owner's commands and demands, and if you do that, then there is some freedom for the manager and the director of football. So that's how clubs operate. And with Man United, when Sir Alex was fired, when it was David Moyes, when it was Van Gaal, when it was Jose Mourinho, it wasn't really about a director of football. It was more about signing players for commercial needs. So like a Paul Pogba, a Zlatan Ibrahimovic, a Romelu Lukaku. Even if they weren't the first choice for those managers, the club would get them in because yes, they somewhat align with the manager, but they also align with the core objective of expand United commercially. But today it's more about a director of football. So yeah, it's. I mean, did that make sense?
Yeah, it did. It did 100%. It did. It did. But yeah, we might as well move on to the next subject. I think let's just talk about the rest of football. So we might as well go on to Real Madrid. I mean, the segment of Real Madrid, one of the biggest football clubs in the world. You know, seems like the standards over there are dropping in a way. But what do you think of the Real Madrid, situation and everything? What do you think of what's going on in Madrid? What do you think of like how Madrid are being operated at the moment? Obviously, because like they're signing players, they're not signing players of necessity.
Mm-hmm.
They're not replacing the players that they should have replaced, and then they find now they find themselves into a mess that they can't get out of. They've sacked the man. They've sacked Xabi Alonso. They let go of Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti decided to leave last season. Xabi Alonso got sacked. Not even half a season he got sacked. Alvaro Arbeloa has taken over, and now Real Madrid are in the process of finding a new manager. But Real Madrid don't mess about. They sack a manager when it's the right time to. When they think it's the right time to sack a manager, they'll sack a manager. They don't care. They maintain the highest standard possible. But it seems like the standards within the fan base are slowly starting to drop. What do you think has been going on with Real Madrid situation-wise? And obviously the results have been getting has been really iffy lately, isn't it? But I want to know your thoughts on Real Madrid lately, man. Take it away, please.
Yeah, I think Real Madrid will be a very good litmus test and a case study on what happens with football and the trajectory of football. Obviously, at the moment, Madrid are top of La Liga. Yes, Barca have a game in hand, but they have won 8 straight games at the Bernabeu. So Madrid under Arbeloa have got a little bit more short-term stability. But one thing that Florentino Perez has noted, especially in recent years, is these clubs can't compete with the likes of Manchester City, with the likes of PSG, with the likes of state-backed clubs, with clubs that are funded by wealthy oligarchs and corporations that fund football clubs. Talk about the Glazers, talk about Ineos with Manchester United. So Real Madrid are going to be a really, really interesting litmus test because at the moment, I have to be brutally honest, Florentino Perez, you mention him to most football fans, he is synonymous with words such as power, with ego, with influence, with the desire, the willingness to do whatever it takes to extract the winningest outcomes and output. And that actually has come to good reason, right? Under Florentino Perez's stewardship of Madrid. He is basically the go-to guy at the club. For those who don't watch football, he is the president and more. That's who Florentino Perez is. Madrid have been the juggernaut of football, right? They have been the most globally recognized club. And if they've not been the most globally recognized club, jousting that position with Man United and Barcelona, at a worst case scenario, they've been head and shoulders above everyone else. I think they've won more Champions Leagues under Florentino Perez than any other club has in the history of the world. So that's how dominant Madrid have always been. And no matter what phase they go through, they have always been this ruthless side to prioritize success over any sentiment. I mean, they have sacked people like Ekevin said, Carlo Ancelotti. They were happy to get rid and badmouth Cristiano Ronaldo. It is about the team before anything else. It is about winning more than anything else. It is always and only a win now philosophy. But recently, Florentino Perez, that win now philosophy, that autonomy, that we're going to do whatever it takes ourselves, has slightly changed. Obviously, in 2021, Madrid launched a complete coup of European football with the Super League initiative. A few weeks ago, they left it. Then a few months ago, Florentino Perez announced the club is open to foreign investors. And then there was a whole incident between Xabi Alonso and Vinicius Jr. Basically disrespecting and also, demonizing. Yeah, downing tools on Xabi Alonso in the El Clasico when Xabi Alonso wanted to sub him off the pitch. He disrespected him. And there have been times where Florentino Perez philosophy of prioritizing players of not prioritizing players has become prioritizing players. So, Ekman, to ask me bluntly, what do I make of Real Madrid as a unit? Real Madrid are still the biggest and the best club in football history. No doubt about that. But Florentino Perez, the man that everyone once feared, I don't know if that's the same man. Because at the moment, some of the decisions he's made, siding with players over the managers, opening up to foreign investors, which basically destroys the autonomy that Madrid have as their club, and also on top of that, basically remodel themselves to try and fight PSG and Manchester City. It just seems like times are changing, and that's kind of emblematic of what's happening in football in the world, where cash is king, profit rules. So yeah, my biggest takeaway on Real Madrid is right now, in the short term even, they also don't look like the strongest team. I think Sunkit mentioned it earlier on. When you watch them play, like against Benfica were confident playing against Madrid. 5 years ago, they wouldn't. They would be shit scared with that mentality, with that never say mentality, that inevitability factor. But that's kind of wiped away. And they also seem a team in terms of their output reliant on Mbappe rather than being spread around the pitch as well. They do have a couple injuries as well. We will see what happens with Madrid. I think, to me, it's more about the structure of Madrid. It's more about what they do off the pitch rather than on the pitch this season, and how they manage to cope with these state-backed giants. Because at the moment, we're living in a time where Madrid are really trying to prioritize, revenue rather than remarkable quality. I mean, even the new stadium, right? What Madrid did with the new stadium, a beautiful new stadium, alongside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, perhaps the best in Europe. But by allocating more resources to fund that behemoth of a beast, they had neglected some of the sporting stuff. And then, like I said, not buying into Xabi Alonso's vision, which was blossoming a bit, and siding with the players that have been out of form. Not Cristiano Ronaldo, by the way, out of form. Again, what does that say about the football club? It seems like they are trending towards the Glazer direction rather than the City or the PSG direction of build a proper structure. So we'll see. I don't know. I would love to hear what Ekman has to make of it, because I personally, I can't say I've watched many Real Madrid games this season. I don't know, Tifosi, Sunkit, any of you guys in the chat, Mr. Joshy J, of course. I would love to know, what do you guys make of Madrid? What do you think their ceiling is this season? Do you think under Arbeloa they can win the Champions League? We saw Chelsea do it with Roberto Di Matteo, so it absolutely is plausible. And if any club in world football is to win the Champions League with the deck stacked completely against them, it is none other than Real Madrid. Mr. Tifosi in the chat says, the mindset is nowhere to be seen. You can't win just because you play for a big club like Madrid. You need to have the hunger and the understanding, which I don't see now. Touche. I wholeheartedly agree with you, Tifosi. The fact of the matter is, Real Madrid today do not seem like they would die to win. They seem like a club full of egos. It seems like the Galacticos, except the structure supporting it is no longer enforcing, no longer being that dictator saying, I don't give a shit about your ego. I don't give a shit about your private and personal endorsements. It is like, okay, if you're not liking the setup fully, if you are generating revenue for the brand, if you are giving us more sponsors like Vinicius Jr., I'll let you, your games of bad form are not the priority. It's more dealing with, hey, how can we ensure you are still at the club? So I agree with you with Real Madrid. It just, I think Perez's grip on football and Perez's grip on the world just seems to be sliding. And what happened with the Super League is the best metaphor for it, right? Perez at the top of his game tried to assemble all of Europe away from UEFA. Whatever the reason was, whether to go away from the UEFA system to build something else, to assert his power and his vision, or just to meet demands with UEFA, right? Use that as a bargaining tool. Because sometimes people forget when a president, when a politician, when a CEO, when they launch an ambitious initiative, there is a story behind the story. So maybe one of the reasons the Super League was being formed wasn't necessarily to get away from the Champions League. It was more to meet certain financial demands better with UEFA. Whatever it was at the end of it, Florentino Perez has met an equal in Nasser Al Khelafi, the PSG president, and conglomerates like in the Gulf states, whether it's the UAE or Saudi Arabia. You can make the case that they have more power than Florentino Perez today. They certainly have more power in terms of footballing activity. They spend a lot more. Also, many tournaments, many preseason tournaments, many games are being advertised and held in the UAE as well. Look at the Super Cup in Spain, gone to the UAE, gone to the Middle East. Look at even not just in terms of expenditure, not just in terms of the clubs that are the biggest cash cows, the ones that inject the most and take the most money out of it. Even in the Premier League, the PGOML, even they have deep ties to the Emiratis. Even the referees have ties to the Gulf states. So I think the biggest thing for Real Madrid in me is, before Florentino Perez, his philosophy was always unmatched in terms of do whatever it takes to win. And he could achieve that because he had the financial resources to put his mind and his money together. But today he doesn't have that autonomy and authority anymore because he has an equal. PSG are in far greater bed with UEFA than Real Madrid are today. Manchester City have higher purchasing power than Real Madrid do today. And in order to adapt, in order to spend as much money, in order to be as lucrative for the best players in the world, you will need to open up your club to foreign investors. And when you open up your club to foreign investors, that means a bit of your identity gets taken away. And you become more focused on commercial revenue rather than competitive interest. So that's what I think. I think that's the core of Real Madrid's problem. I could be mistaken. Of course, if you've watched me on the channel for a long time, you would know. I'm happy to be corrected on issues like this. I'm not someone that when they have an opinion, I think I'm fully right and everyone else is wrong. If anyone can provide me any information or claims against that, I'm happy to say that. But yeah, I think that's the problem with Real Madrid.
No, I was listening to a lot of what you said, bro, and you're spot on. Real Madrid can't always get what they want because they don't always have what they need. And the reason why they don't have what they need is because either they're being sanctioned behind the scenes and nobody knows about it, or are they just being careful, or are they just being stingy? Or is Perez finally reaching his time of, time's up? Time's up for Perez. Because you can't let yourself fall behind the standards of, for example, a City, a Liverpool, or... Bro, you can't... And it's gonna sound crazy. Well, I wouldn't say it's crazy, but you can't let Arsenal dump you out of the Champions League in both legs.
Humiliate you.
Absolutely humiliated. PSG, bro. PSG are trying to become Real Madrid.
They are Real Madrid now.
They are Real Madrid in standards. Real Madrid are trying to become like PSG. Trying to have all the Galacticos, trying to have all the best players. Oh, sorry. I won't say like PSG. They're just trying to sign all the best players. But it didn't work. Look at the model PSG followed. They followed the model of let's build a younger team. Let's build a younger mixed experience-ish team with Marquinhos at the back, with Fabian Ruiz in the middle. But we'll have two young midfielders like João Neves and Vitinha. who Vitinha was just at Wolves a few years ago. Let's sign Carrick'S in January. Let's build. Let's give Desiree Doué. Let's develop Desiree Doué. Let's sign him and develop him. We have Bradley Barcola in our team. We have Warren Zaire-Emery. We have Achraf Hakimi, who we signed from Real Madrid's academy. Who else did they sign? Ousmane Dembele. Let's rejuvenate his injury-prone career and turn it into a Ballon d'Or winning year. Real Madrid need to start developing more young players. That's the motto. That's the motto I think they need to follow. It's time to develop some young players. Time to develop the younger lads that you've got in your academy. Time to develop some of the players that you've had, but you refuse to play. Arda Güler, develop him. Rodrigo, play him in his rightful position. Give him his correct role. You know, where's all this? Oh, let's sign Mbappe. Okay, cool. Mbappe is not the worst signing ever, obviously. I'm not going to say Mbappe is horrible. No, he's not. But you need to figure out how to bring him into the team, integrate him into the team. Yes, he's scoring a lot of goals. But how does he link up with Vinicius Jr.? How does he link up with Rodrigo? How does he link up with Arda Güler? You need to find the right sort of philosophy. You need to find the right sort of style and the right sort of formation that fits all of them in without one another getting in the way of each other. Because that's what's been happening, bro. Under Carlo Ancelotti, Mbappe, Vini, Rodrigo were all on the left-hand side. Then they signed Dean Howson. All right, Dean Howson's a young player. Develop him. Keep on developing some of these guys. I get it. Dean Howson might not be the finished article. Sure, because Real Madrid loves signing finished article players. They love signing players that are already ready-made. And I completely understand that. But maybe it's time for Madrid to follow that that young sort of PSG sort of route. Develop Franco Mastantuono. Develop Nico Paz. Develop some of the young lads you already have. Turn them into world beaters, like what PSG did. Now we can call players like Kvaratskhelia world beaters. Bro, PSG are a serious football club. Look at the way they were in the Champions League before they signed Kvaratskhelia. They were literally dead. They were literally about to get eliminated from the whole thing without even making the playoffs. Yes. Remember, they were 2 places down.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happened? They signed Kvaratskhelia, they beat Manchester City, and they made it through. What did they end up doing? They beat Liverpool, beat Aston Villa, beat Arsenal, and beat Inter Milan. What did that result in? The Champions League. They won the whole damn fucking thing. They won the whole thing, bro. And why is that? It's because they built smart. They replaced players that they thought was past it. They replaced Di Maria. They replaced Neymar. They replaced Mbappe. Well, not necessarily replaced Mbappe in terms of goals and everything, but they brought in players to play in his position instead of him. Look at their midfield. Look at PSG's midfield. They replaced Verratti time ago. Vitinha is an absolute baller. Look at the way they developed him. John Neves was signed for 60 million in the summer. Look at the way they developed him. Baller. Developing your young lads. Having the right manager. Luis Enrique is the perfect guy to develop young guys. To develop young players and to implement, tactics, implement a system that suits them all. Having a bit of experience like Marquinhos around, a bit of a Hakimi as well. Donnarumma, who's been in the game for a while, who's now at Man City. I forgot to mention Nuno Mendes, another one. a left back who they've developed for some time. Exactly, Tifosi.
Yeah.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. You need to have a group that's willing to that runs through brick walls for a manager. And these guys at PSG were willing to sorry, I can't even fucking talk. Excuse me. I had a tongue twister there. They were willing to run through brick walls for Luis Enrique.
Yes.
And that's something you don't really have in modern day football. You have players more obsessed about money rather than passion and standards. For most of them, it's like a job, and fair enough, I get it. But the beautiful game was built on players and built on railroad workers taking a break and playing football. Now turned into a money game.
Yep.
That's how unfortunate that's how unfortunate it is. But you know what? There's still players out there that idolize people that ran through brick walls for their managers. So Ronaldo ran through brick walls for Sir Alex Ferguson. Leo Messi ran through brick walls for Pep Guardiola. David Beckham ran through.
Someone clip that. I'm kidding.
Nah, it's true. David Beckham ran through brick walls for Sir Alex Ferguson. Who else?
Patrick Vieira with Arsene Wenger.
Even George Graham. You know.
Yeah.
Riyad Mahrez through brick walls for Claudio Ranieri at Leicester City when they won the Premier League.
Conte, Danny Drinkwater.
The beauty of, oh yes, Antonio Conte.
Yeah.
There you go. It's because the passion and desire is not there for some of them now. That's also why.
But I think, but can I add something, Ekman? I don't want to interrupt you.
Please go on. No, it's your show.
Because I want to piggyback and hear what you have to make of this. I think one of the reasons that passion and desire isn't there is the fault of the owners. I think the owners breed the odor of the club. They breed the smell of the club. So if your owners are fully focused on victory, then the owners have the veto, right? If the most scary thing at the football club is disobeying the owners, then the whole trajectory of the club is flipped upside down. The aim is not to play for the owners. It's to play for the overall club. It's to play for the badge. It's to play for the brilliant people that support the club, that fund your wages. It's them. It's the child in yourself. That's what you are. And I think you were absolutely correct with PSG. I think today PSG are the new top club in football. And again,
they're the best model to follow in terms of footballing model. Like in terms of youth academy, mix of world-class players, in terms of how you want to develop yourself as a football club, the project of a football club. Because they won the whole thing, bro. They won the treble, they won the quad even, if you want to include the Super Cup. You know, they won the French FA Cup, they won the French League, they won the Champions League. They won the UEFA Super Cup, they won the Intercontinental Cup. Except they lost the Club World Cup. That's the only thing they lost. PSG would have completed the whole set. They could have been the greatest achievement. They could have been the greatest team of all time in terms of achievement, not in terms of like player for player.
Yes,
they could have been the greatest achievement. Yeah, exactly. I'd say they could have been they could have won the whole thing. They could have won 7 trophies in one season, which would have been crazy, bro. If you think about it, which would have been mad, you know. But sorry, bro. Go on, please.
No, I agree with you, but it's not even that, Ekman. It's just look at how Madrid have operated. Exactly. Tifosi says from entertainment and adrenaline to money magnets. That is what football and F1 is turning into today. You're right. Look at Real Madrid, Ekman. What have been their most since their last Champions League title? What has been their most monumental achievements? Has it been on the pitch or off the pitch? To me, it's been the stadium. It's hosting Taylor Swift. It's having an NFL game. That seems to be the priority. It's the circus over the actual championship itself. And even Florentino Perez himself is talking about brand. Yes, that's it. They're aiming to be a brand than what's best for the club. And Perez has always done that, right? Since he's come in, he's enforced the rule about image rights. Most football clubs, they are very lenient with image rights. Florentino Perez has this thing at Real Madrid where it's 50-50 in terms of 50% you get to keep the image rights, 50% we get to keep your image rights. which means again they're making a lot of money from their players. Players are not human necessarily; they're rather
Mhm.
economic slaves, if that makes sense. But
No, that makes sense.
but
100%.
more than ever, what Real Madrid need to do is it's not necessarily out of sinister sleaziness of trying to take it, take as much money as possible. No, one thing about Florentino Perez is, Ekavin, people can say he is corrupt, but he definitely does care about Real Madrid. That is no doubt. That is no doubt he does care about Real Madrid, and he does care about his
He does.
reputation, and that's
He does.
about winning. But that ambition, Ekavin, he can't have that ambition does not work today because Madrid don't have the capital or the money to do it. Ekavin, they
Yeah,
can't compete with PSG. They
no,
can't
you
keep
can't.
with Manchester City. But the thing is, they haven't been able to keep with PSG and Manchester City for the longest time. Why? Because because of the money, of course. But they were still able to win trophies. They still won the Champions League 2 years ago. But
Yeah,
the reason they have been able to win these tournaments and attract these players, not just because they're a brand, money is one thing, power is one thing, influence is another. Madrid's influence has been unmatched. Madrid have always had the best influence with the C-suite,
yeah,
with the with with the heads of UEFA, with UEFA itself, right? Madrid were that go-to club, but today they're not that go-to club. And Ekavin, what happened a few days ago on Feb 11th? The Super League officially died. I think
hmm
that is the nail in the Florentino Perez empire. Where I'm not saying Perez is gone. Real Madrid are gonna win Champions League still. Real Madrid are gonna generate more revenue than ever. But that is the nail in the head of their total control and of dominance in Europe from a financial and from a footballing perspective. They can't do that. And the reason Perez is focusing on the stadium, on Taylor Swift, on Vinicius Jr. over the performance, on the players over the performance, is because in order for Madrid to sustainably get back to the top, they will have to sell their soul. They will have to disappoint, subvert the will of some socios, right? Because Madrid is a country backed club, not a state backed club.
yeah,
It is it's basically it's owned by its city, right? It's owned by its people. But
yes.
Paris is going to have to open that club up because they don't have enough money to fund the club anymore. And I don't know what you make of that. Do you think that's a good thing? Do you think it's necessary, tragedy, but it's also necessary, or he should stick to the identity?
Stick to the identity in terms of what the current day identity or the olden day identity.
Nah, because basically, like we've always said, if you think about Madrid, Ekavin, you think about the club that only aims to win, right? That does whatever it takes to win their way. But now Paris is opening the club up to investors like an Ineos, like the Glazers, that will come to the club, inject more funds, but use it as a cash cow rather than actually winning trophies. Like, do you think it's necessary for them to have these investors, or again, their influence alone is good enough? Because I don't know.
I think they should definitely stick to they should definitely go back to their old ways. They should definitely go back to their old ways for sure. When I say old ways, is the ways of Real Madrid when Ronaldo was still there. The fact that when they cared about winning Champions Leagues over everything, the fact that they cared about winning trophies as an obligation rather than anything. You know, that's
Yeah,
the that's the that's the standard that Madrid should be following. Cool, I get being a brand, I get being a global brand because Real Madrid are massive, one of the biggest football clubs in the world. They definitely got one of the biggest fan bases out there, if not the biggest fan base, in term, if not for another club. So at the end of the day, it's what Real Madrid fans want to follow as well. Because a lot of Madrid fans you speak to nowadays, they've kind of accepted that the Madrid are just no longer that club anymore. Or not no longer that club anymore, excuse me. They're just no longer that club in terms of like what they once was 4 years ago, winning Champions Leagues, winning league titles. You know, but when they brought Mbappe in, what do you think it was for? What do you think
good question.
bringing Mbappe was? What do you think bringing in Mbappe was going to do for them? It was going to sell shirts. He was gonna sell. He was gonna make revenue. Madrid's revenue streams were gonna increase.
And what was bringing in Luka Modric for?
Luka Modric.
Yeah, I'm trying to put the comparison. 15 years ago, Madrid would sign the players, even though they wouldn't sell shirts. They would sign the best players to win.
They would sign up and coming players that were gonna help that club go to where it should be. You remember Luka Modric when he first joined? Look at Real Madrid fans. Look at how crazy they were in terms of like, oh, this guy's a flop. This guy's no good. Gareth Bale in his very first Champions League final stunk the gaff out for pretty much almost the entire time. Remember that? Gareth Bale stunk the gaff his first ever Champions League final for Real Madrid. But he learned over time. Why? It's because he has to realize who he's playing for. A lot of these Real Madrid players don't realize who they're playing for until they've accepted reality. This club will not win a Champions League. And I want to see Madrid win a Champions League. Why? It's because they're my if I had to choose between outside of Man United, if I had to choose another team, it's Real Madrid. It's Real Madrid for me. If I had to choose a team outside of Manchester United, I always support Man United. But if I had to choose one team outside of Man United who I would like, it's Real Madrid. I have the utmost respect for Real Madrid. I've got zero hatred for Real Madrid. Zero. Our legends played for them. Some of their legends played for us. You know, mutual respect goes both ways. Like I mentioned to you backstage, Augusta, respect goes both ways. You know? So, look, at the end of the day, Real Madrid just have to stop worrying about cash coming into the football club. They haven't replaced Toni Kroos. They haven't replaced Luka Modric. Their center back depth is not good enough. Carvajal is getting old. He's getting injury prone. Trent's not hit the ground running yet. He probably had a good game last night. You know?
Yeah, of course.
Their left back situation. Their midfield attack. There's no chemistry in their attack. A lot of Real Madrid's players haven't accepted who they're playing for. They think, oh my God, am I dreaming, waking up to a reality? Am I playing for Real Madrid? Oh, so many legends played here. You know, some of these players still think it's a dream. Wake up. You're playing for one of the biggest football clubs in the fucking world. You know, the aim is to win. Not diddle and daddle around and worry about the money you're making. It's time to win at Madrid. Otherwise, you're gone. Bro, Madrid could sell Housen in a year and a half. They wouldn't care. Madrid won't care. Madrid could sell Mbappe tomorrow. They wouldn't care. The standards on that board need to wake up as well. They need to wake up in terms of standards as well. Start replacing the players that need to replace, and spend bigger. They keep on spending on big players, whilst they're being free agents. They signed Dean Housen for 60 million. The guy's inexperienced. You know, develop him. They need to develop him better. Develop Dean Housen. You know, they need a manager that can come in and develop young players as well as develop the players that's already there. You know.
Yeah.
You need to follow what PSG are doing, and do what they did 2 years ago when they won that Champions League. 3 seasons ago, actually, I lie. Was it 3? Yeah,
when they beat
two seasons ago when they last won the Champions League. 2 seasons ago. Otherwise, just pack it in. You know you're Real Madrid. I want to see you guys win. It satisfies me. It's heritage. It's football heritage. I love seeing Real Madrid win. You know? It's what it is.
But, and Ekeman, you're 100% right on developing players and investing in your academy. But I think the biggest difference is Ekeman today, or 5 years ago, who was the most powerful man in club football? Who do you think was the most powerful man in club football?
Florentino
Chat,
Perez.
chat. We would agree with that. Today, who do you think is the most powerful man in club football?
Most powerful man in club football today.
I don't think it's Florentino Perez. I think it's
Huh.
Nasser Al Khelaifi, and it's not even close.
Okay.
I don't even think it's close. Frankly, he sits on the UEFA executive committee. He is the president of so many different. He's the chairman of European football clubs, the EFC as well. He is literally he's a minister in Qatar as well. He's backed by Gulf states funds as well. Nasser Al Khelaifi has the influence, has the power, capital wise, to put Madrid out of the water, to basically mine Madrid over and over and over again if they were for sale. And on top of that, he has the influence. All the ex-footballers before, the club that would associate themselves most with ex-footballers, with fans, with celebrities would be a Real Madrid. Today it's PSG. I mean, you see Rio Ferdinand hanging out with Nasser Al Khelaifi all the time. That makes no sense at all. But given the power and the influence, it does. And even the broadcasting deals like BN Sports, it's Nasser Al Khelaifi. And the Super League is case in point. Madrid had to end their own rebel initiative to come back to Nasser Al Khelaifi's UEFA. So, and the biggest difference is, yes, of course, PSG are a state-backed club, so they had a big cash injection, and the whole soul of their football club is draped in having the ability to do whatever it takes to win. But they no longer are a pay first, capital first club. They are a competitive first club. They just have the capital to achieve that. Ekevin made the point about buying players like Maradona, Maradona. The truth is, look at what's PSG's wage bill today, Ekevin. It's 65%. That is so healthy. A few years ago, their wage bill was 110%. They were overspending with players like Lionel Messi, with Neymar, with Mbappe. Commercial reasons.
It's
Prioritizing
currently 3,434,808 million euros.
Their wage bill?
Sorry, excuse me. 3,434,808 euros a week. Gross per week. This is currently salaries and contracts, excluding bonuses. And per year for 2025, it was 151 million pounds, 246,680, right? That's per year. Per week, it's 2,908,590 pounds per week. The highest earner in the team is Ousmane Dembele. Rightly so, is because he won the Ballon d'Or. Rightly so. He won the Ballon d'Or. He has to be the highest earning. He has to be the highest earner at the club. It's right. It's only right. He got the Ballon d'Or, right?
Yep.
And he was the most informed player last season. PSG's wage structure is how everyone should look at it. They signed some young players, but they're earning because why? Is because they did it right. They say you can't earn this much until you've completed such and such. You've accomplished such and such. Some clubs, they just sign players and be like, all right, I'm gonna give you this amount of wages now. You must hit the ground running now. How do you think they're gonna be like, oh, all right, I already earned this amount of money. I'm not gonna care.
Yeah.
There needs to be a level of discipline from the board. Like, you need to earn this much first, and once you've reached a certain level, once you've got to a certain degree, I can give you more. Think about it. A top company, an employee starts up with this much. You get a pay rise for working hard. These players, they think they some of them just have the audacity to earn so much straight away. They think they've accomplished so much already. Because by signing for one of the top companies, that you already thought you've accomplished so much. In reality, you've accomplished nothing yet. Some of these players haven't accomplished anything yet. Dean House hasn't accomplished anything yet. Sometimes you just give players based on what they want, rather than how much they should be earning. Sometimes you fulfill their wants without really fulfilling their necessities. And that's been the unfortunate case. A lot of football clubs, I'm talking about Man United as well. Although I don't care about
United are the best example.
But at Madrid, a lot's gone on behind the scenes. I don't know, man. It's egos, players not realizing who they're playing for. You know, players not waking up to the standards of Real Madrid. Florentino Perez not breaking the bank for a
Mm,
player for players and positions they need. They haven't replaced their players. You know, they 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 think they're broke, but they're really not broke. You know.
no, absolutely not. I mean, last year they generated more revenue than ever before. In fact, financially, Ekevin, Real Madrid are in a healthier place today than they ever have been in the history of their football club.
Yeah.
Real Madrid are far from broke. This narrative that Madrid are broke make absolutely no sense. It makes no
Mm.
sense at all. I just think the truth is, since PSG, since Man City, since all of these state-backed clubs have entered into football, they have been the most powerful clubs in terms of cash. But Madrid have always had the influence. So with UEFA, with the European Football Committee as well, with all the other pillars of football and governing bodies, with referees as well, Madrid have always had that influence as a football club, that aura, that inevitability on the pitch. So from around 2008 all the way to the 2020s, Madrid were still the dominant force. But when Perez tried that coup of the Super League, for whatever the demands were, whether it was for financial compromises to make more money or to completely rebel away from the system and have a total grip on it. That's when the beginning of the end was happening. Because Perez and Madrid, they were a time ticking bomb compared to these state backed clubs. And now the truth is, Florentino Perez's grip on football doesn't exist. Because as he made those mistakes to try and save his influence, to maximize his influence, Nasser Al Khelafi filled that void in. He took over European football. He has the power, he has the influence. And Paris today came back to UEFA, has a seat at the table, but that's what he has. He has a seat at the table. He's a power player, but not the power player. And unfortunately, if you don't, from Michael Corleone, right, from being the godfather of football, Paris has just become another one of many owners in club
Mm.
football, but he isn't the richest.
They're
And
all
that's the tragedy for Madrid, Ekman. I don't know how Madrid get back to the top sustainably.
rags, rags to riches.
Literally.
Seat warmer. Um, I mean, you summed it up perfectly. I can't really put it into words. Um, Champions League. We'll do a Champions League preview when the round 16 comes closer. Obviously, the playoffs are next week. Um, do you see Madrid going to the next round? Benfica, after the Benfica beat him last time. Do you see Madrid getting to the next round, or do you think that's the end of Madrid now?
You know what? Despite everything that we have just said today, genuinely, if Madrid went to the next round and won the whole thing, I would not be surprised.
No, no. It wouldn't have surprised me too. They have match winners in their team, but at the end of the day, it's the standards that they.
But I think the difference is, like, if Madrid win the Champions League this year, it won't be because of their greatness. It will be because teams like
No,
PSG, City
it'll
didn't
be
hold
individual.
their serve. Yeah,
It'll be
exactly. But
individual. It's more to do with like they have match winners in their squad.
yes, it will be individual brilliance, but also because clubs like Arsenal, City, and PSG didn't hold their serve.
Yeah.
Because at their peak, obviously they are far better than Madrid. Do I see them beating Benfica, Ekevin? I personally hope Benfica wins. I would love to see that story of Jose Mourinho knocking out Real Madrid from the Champions League. It would be pure cinema, 3 in
You
a
know me,
row as well.
I don't back. I always back Madrid, man.
Of
Even
course,
like,
you have.
except Man United.
But
Yeah.
I think that game at the game in Portugal will be very defining in terms of that.
Agreed.
It would not surprise me. And if Jose can get a draw or get a 1-0 victory, going to the Bernabeu, sitting back, shutting up shop, there is nobody else in the history of world football you trust than the man that can say, you can have the ball, I will take the 3 points. So I
Mm.
think this stylistically, Jose Mourinho winning makes sense. It is very possible. But Ekevin, my gut, my instinct, my intuition says Madrid are going to win this one.
Yeah, same. I think Madrid are going to win this one. I guess that's it for football. We've done a lot of topic on football. Premier League, we'll do another Premier League talk on another show. Let's get to a different sport now. We've covered a lot of football. We're only going to cover 3 sports on this one. We did tennis already. We did the review of tennis. NFL, I have done the review of the NFL show. I will do that next week. Any other sports that I missed out on? Except for that, just NBA, F1, football. I guess that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Where you want to head to next?
Gotta be where the man in the chat is. Gotta be where the excitement lies. Formula One.
100% Formula One. Let's get to Formula One. Let's get there. Obviously, we did the show last week.
Great show. One of our best shows ever.
Yep, 100%. It was a heated debate, kinda. All the car models have been released. All the cars have been released now. Cadillac's car is out. Audi's car is out. I think Williams' car is already out. And a few more that weren't released last time are now officially released. So let's get to the chase. Let's get to Formula One real quick. We did a show last week. We're now going to talk about the off season. You saw Lewis Hamilton's quotes. Not Lewis Hamilton's quotes, but Ferraris are still yet to find Lewis Hamilton's race engineer. They're still yet to find Lewis Hamilton's race engineer. They've taken so long. The season's about to start. They still haven't found him a race engineer yet. What are your thoughts on that, man?
I think, first of all, the driver relationship with the race engineer is quintessential. It is literally vital to your success as a driver. The engineer tells you all the details. It tells you all the nuts and bolts of Formula One, and is the one that coaches you. It's your therapist and also your technical expert at the same time. And it's one thing to know all about that. It's another thing to be able to extract and tell that information that supports the driver in the best way possible. So like Gianpiero Lambiase with Max Verstappen, masterful. Bono and Lewis Hamilton, literally the definition of chemistry. But with Hamilton last season, with his engineer Ricardo Adami, obviously that dynamic did not work out. There were so many times last season, Ekevin, where Lewis Hamilton completely flinched. He completely lashed out at Ricardo. And there were moments of miscommunication where Ricardo just wasn't supporting Hamilton emotionally and information-wise as much as possible. So Hamilton needed a race engineer. It's nothing personal. It's just professional business. And then when it comes to the new engineer, as long as the search ends up with Hamilton getting someone, it's like a puzzle that puts the jigsaw together. Hamilton feels comfortable emotionally and tactically. They can talk, they can match each other stride for stride. They can go band for band. That is the most ideal thing for Lewis Hamilton. So if you can get someone and then build a relationship with them, then that's good. Until then, I can't really comment because I think he does need a new engineer. It just depends on who that will be. So I think as long as it's the searches, it's like being in a relationship. You don't want to be in a relationship just for being in the sake of it. You want to be in the right relationship. That's what Lewis Hamilton's do.
Sorry. No, yeah, you're not wrong. I agree. I think having that connection between your race engineer and having a connection between your I'd say your driver, you're right. It's important. How are you supposed to try and win championships and how are you supposed to win races if you don't have that race engineer? Forget relationship, Augusta. They still haven't found a race engineer yet. They still haven't found a race engineer yet.
Yep.
You know? They sacked his previous one. Or not sacked him. I don't know what happened. They just didn't, you know. They just left and they haven't found one. You know? So my biggest issue with Lewis Hamilton is the situation with Lewis Hamilton is ever since Ferrari brought him in, they've not given him what he's wanted. They've not supported the guy. But yet he's still offering them 110% every single race. He gives back to something that doesn't give in. Ferrari doesn't give in, but Lewis Hamilton gives back. You know? So, my biggest issue is It's the relationship between Lewis Hamilton and his team. It ain't even the relationship between Lewis Hamilton and his race engineer now.
Yeah, that's a great point.
His team is complete. His team's completely neglected him. His race engineer has not, because they haven't found him a race engineer, so they've neglected him in that sense. You know, and yeah, I mean, there's just simply no bond between him and the race engineer at the moment. There's just no bond.
He feels like
because there's nobody. Because there's nobody running in that spot. So Ferrari have completely ruined Lewis Hamilton's time at Ferrari. They're here to burn another driver's time. You know? They're here to destroy another driver. It's just plain and simple. They're destroying another driver. Although Lewis Hamilton cannot be destroyed because he's already accomplished so much. They're just ruining his time there. But in terms of, like you said, in terms of just, watching it all unfold, man. Just watching that, the championship aspirations, the standards the guy brings to Ferrari. It's all just gone because this motherfucker John Elkann doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Let's just be real. John Elkann is the reason behind all this. There's no transparency between them. The fact that John Elkann had the audacity to come out and say Lewis Hamilton shouldn't complain, but you're the one not supporting him. You're not giving him what he needs to succeed. Is why his time at Ferrari is becoming a waste. It's because of you, John Elkann. And it's been because of you. Yeah? You've structurally ruined Ferrari. You structurally ruined that franchise. One of the biggest franchises in the world today in terms of sports. Forget just in real life. Sports. He's ruined what Ferrari was. And he mentions about Lewis Hamilton. Who is Lewis Hamilton to say such things? Bro, he's a 7-time world champion, you fucking idiot. 7-time world champion. 7-time world champion. One of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. So yeah, bro. It's same old from Ferrari, man. Same old. And I expect nothing new this season. Nothing new. I expect nothing new. What do you have to say?
I completely agree with both of you. You hit the nail on the head. And Kevin, you're 100% right. I talked about engineer relationship being integral. But just like we talked about in football, we talked about with players and managers being handicapped to the needs of the board and the owners. It's the same playbook over here. And Tifosi says Ferrari has gone hollow from the inside. Right. Yeah. Because John Elkann seemed to be running the franchise as a business rather than an entity designed to win. And the fact of the matter is, insulting your two drivers in a season where your car was far from adrift, even if your drivers were at peak capacity, they wouldn't win the championship. At best, they'd be competing for podiums. Seems like a misdirection. And if you've signed the best drivers in your sports generation, Alonso, Raikkonen, Vettel, Hamilton, and you were unable to win a championship, it seems like the problem isn't necessarily the drivers alone. The root of the problem seems to be the system of how Ferrari is run. And like we said, if you're going to sign a driver like Lewis Hamilton, for Lewis Hamilton to succeed in Formula One, it's all about those fine details. Formula One is a sport, I sound like Will Buxton, separated by tenths by milliseconds. The margins are the definition of fine and slim. And if you don't have everyone on the same starting line, if everyone isn't on the same starting line, if Lewis Hamilton, when he goes to Ferrari, is worried about not being able to open up to his engineers, or people making fun of him, or a language barrier being there, or the owners being like, we trust the establishment at Ferrari, the engineering establishment that hasn't brought us victories over the man that won 7 world championships, there's a problem. There needs to be balance at Ferrari.
What's the universal language? What's the universal language? It's fucking English.
There you go. There you
Both
go.
of your drivers are Italian. Hire some English people working. Hire some English-speaking people then. Hire some competent people. Whether they speak Italian, whether they speak English, whether they speak fucking gibberish, I don't give a shit. What's the aim? Is to win.
Yeah. Winning is
Ferrari,
the language. Winning should be the language.
exactly. Ferrari have only cared about, Italian. Bro, yes, I get it. Ferrari's an Italian sort of. Ferrari's from Italy, and I get it. But come on. Augustia. Manchester United used to have so many English players. So many English footballers. But what happened? They brought in some Portuguese, they brought in some Spanish players, they brought in some Dutch players. Why? It's because they wanted to bring in quality. And if you can't bring in quality in the engineer in the garage, then you're fucked.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to succeed? Oh, I need to bring in Italian-speaking people because we're an Italian company. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. It's like a Michelin star restaurant saying, "Oh, we're from France. We need to hire someone who can speak French and who can cook." Just hire the best chefs. Just hire the best working class. Just hire the best people like I said, working class people. It's because you're one of the top companies out there. You're one of the top teams out there in sports. Ferrari should be having the best in class. They've had the best drivers. They've had the best in class drivers, but they never had the best in class in terms of winning standards. It's completely fallen into the mud ever since Michael Schumacher left and Kimi Räikkönen won the last championship. Ever since Kimi Räikkönen won the last championship, Ferrari standards have fallen into the mud completely. You know? And I'll go back onto the point where look at how many legends, look at how many championships Ferrari have won. Look at how many of them Ferrari have won. They're the most successful team of all time. They're the biggest team of all time. It's not even close. It's not even close. It's almost as if everybody that watches Formula 1 is a Ferrari fan. They just want to see that Ferrari rise again. They're just waiting for it. Because, bro, Augustia, as much as you disagree, as much as anyone would disagree, Formula 1 is a better place when Ferrari is winning.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
I'm being real. I'm being real. Formula 1 is a much better place when Ferrari is winning. That's what everyone signs up to watch Formula 1, to see Ferrari win. That's why everyone started watching Formula 1 in the first place. It's because Ferrari is there. The legacy Ferrari left behind in Formula 1 is why people started watching it. It's because the legacy Michael Schumacher left behind. The legacy that many past Ferrari drivers have won. Kimi Räikkönen, Sebastian Vettel, Fernando Alonso, who's still driving today. Big up to Fernando Alonso every single time. The rookie. But this is what I'm trying to say. Like, so much legacy is being left behind. It's being tainted. It's being tainted by the lesser working class. There's no working class. There's only incompetent in class. If that even makes sense. There's only working in incompetence, not working in class. That's a bit real. But that's all I can really say. Unless you want to have, I didn't mean to cut you off earlier. You finish your last point and then go on from this, please.
No. I agree with you. You hit the nail on the head. It is incompetence and things like John Elkann undermining the drivers. There's no incentive to do that. Like, what is the incentive? Like, what do you think is the outcome of that statement, saying that Hamilton and Leclerc need to shut up? Does that solve any problems, or does that only what problem did that solve? That only piled onto the mess even more. It's incompetence. more than maliciousness. And also just the structure of Ferrari, it's built to win in the 2000s, not into 2025. And Tifosi, I love the comparison. It's the same shit like Madrid. You can't just expect to assemble the Galacticos and be like, boom, that's the formula for greatness. Because behind every single Galactico, there was a genre of philosophy they had. Do whatever it takes to win, accept accountability, know my role, reciprocate my responsibility. It really reminds me about something Thierry Henry said. When Thierry Henry went to Barcelona, he said something. When I was at Barcelona, I knew what my role was. Yes, I was the best player in the Premier League, but I'm going to Barcelona to win trophies, not to be the best player in the world. But when you win trophies, you become the best player in the world. So if they want me to pick up leaves for Lionel Messi, I will do that if it means to win. Whereas at Ferrari, it seems so discombobulated. On one hand, they're telling Lewis Hamilton, you better work your magic, man. And if you don't work your magic, you're a failure. On the other hand, they're like, Lewis Hamilton, you can't work your magic because we've been here before you'd ever even spoken a word of Italian. So I think, Ekevin, don't you agree? I think that is the problem. The problem is the structure is dysfunctional, the standards are diluted, and the source and the appetite for success isn't acclimated to the modern day demands. And in terms of the rest of the grid, though, as much as I say that, according to everyone in the paddock, Ekevin, according to Lando Norris, you know who Lando Norris said is the fastest team on the grid today? Ferrari. Max Verstappen has also implied that Ferrari are favorites heading into Australia, heading into Melbourne, which is really, really interesting because Charles Leclerc topped the timesheets on the second day of testing in Bahrain. So, again, we talk about these mixes and these matches in Ferrari. It seems like this season, similar to Michael Carrick, they have actually built a car that is able to win races. Now, is it capable of winning championships? We will see. I think this season, Ekman, have you followed the testing? Have you followed any of the quotes
a little bit? Ferrari have topped the fastest timings, apparently one of them as well.
With Leclerc on day 2.
I saw Charles Leclerc as well topping the fastest timing on day 2 in Bahrain, wasn't it? Oh no, was it Barcelona? I forgot. I think Barcelona right now. I think it's Barcelona, isn't it? That they currently
Barcelona,
because they're testing Barcelona twice and then Bahrain once. Bahrain's
Barcelona was the shakedown. Bahrain is the testing.
Barcelona, there's 2 testings in Barcelona, I think.
Yeah.
Because Barcelona's a new track this year, isn't it? They're bringing it back.
Madrid.
Oh no. Oh yes, sorry, Madrid. But apparently Barcelona is one of the what do you call one of the tracks they bring back.
Yeah, I mean,
oh no, sorry.
Whether the tracks that are bringing back or not, it seems like Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, Ekevin, for all the faults in the off season, Ferrari have built a car with which they are comfortable with. Hamilton is saying he's been happier with this car than he has been in a long time, in many, many years, since I think the days with Mercedes, with the black Silver Arrows car. Charles Leclerc, he called last year's car undrivable. He called it completely unpalatable. Today, Ekevin, he is saying the car that he has, Charles Leclerc, is super, super smooth. So can Ferrari win races? Can they be favorites? Lando Norris, the reigning champion, has called Ferrari favorites. Max Verstappen has talked about Ferrari being the fastest car. But Tifosi, to the hope that you were saying, based on all the information available and all the quotes and all the sentiment, I don't think Ferrari are favorites still. If you ask me, I think Ferrari have built a car that is good. That is probably the most complete car, that has the least faults and the least uncertainty with it. But its ceiling is not. Because I think at the moment I would put Ferrari third. I would put Red Bull second, and I would put Mercedes as the top dog. Because we talked about Mercedes on the previous show. For those who didn't miss it, there was the whole engine compression controversy. And basically, with the new rules, obviously the cars are slimmer, the cars are faster than ever, they're smaller than ever, they're 50-50 in terms of electrical and natural balance, which has led to people like Max Verstappen calling it Formula E on steroids. And one of the adjustments that each team had to make is their engine. And the engine is basically the source of the car's strength, right? It gives it its horsepower, it gives it its pace. Yeah. So when the engines are measured, when they're measured static in the garage, it is supposed to be an engine compression ratio of 18-1. That's the normal one. But when it goes out on track, Mercedes gain. So Mercedes have basically gained Yeah, this is Mercedes using the engine compression controversial
Yeah,
system, and with Mercedes' engine compression, basically they have found a loophole in the 16-to-1 compression rule, where the compression is supposed to be 16-to-1 when static, measured before and after races by the FIA. But when it goes out on track, Mercedes compression increases from 16-to-1 to 18-to-1. What that means is every lap, not across the race, every lap, the Tifosi, they can gain 3 to 4 tenths, 15 to 20 more horsepower, which is enough to win a race on its own. They can be out of the waters by lap 10. So
yeah,
yes, you're talking about in testing. Yeah, so of course there are allegations of sandbagging, and Red Bull and Max Verstappen have said that Mercedes are 100% hiding something. And we all know with the quotes and from Barcelona as well, Mercedes are at their ceiling the fastest car, and they except with managing the electrical balance, which Red Bull seem to be doing a lot better. Mercedes at the moment, they have more in the tank, and that's why Toto Wolff has come out, and the entire paddock has revolted against Mercedes, because at the heart of the controversy, the problem is what Mercedes didn't break any rule; they just bypassed it, reinterpreted it, and with what they did, as Toto Wolff himself has said, with the rivals have said, they have built something that could be one of the most dominant and fastest cars ever.
exactly. And that's what people were complaining about. And I look, I'm sure other cars have tried to get that in the past, but they've not received it. They've not won it. They've not won the appeal. And Mercedes got rejected of it now last minute. I didn't know there's a huge gap. What we were told, because the Mercedes don't have that, they weren't given the green light for the compression.
No,
The
they
compression.
still have it. They still have it, but I think they're sandbagging it because the FIA at the moment are expected to have a ruling on what to do with the engine. And for an FIA ruling to have significant measures, especially before the season, you need 4 out of the 5 engine manufacturers to agree with it. So Ferrari, Honda, uh, Ford, and I think it's Audi. They have all revolted against Mercedes engine. So the
Honda.
FIA have Yeah, exactly. So the FIA have no choice but to examine this. And I think politically, if Mercedes were to deploy this dominant car, this car that gives them, I'm going to repeat, 15 to 20 more horsepower every lap. I'm going to repeat, 3 to 4 tenths every single lap. Obviously, it would be overruled immediately. So, to put it bluntly, the case, and Ekman has posted clips about this. The case that Mercedes are making is the rule says when static, the compression has to be 16-to-1. It never talked about on track. So every time Mercedes get measured, the car is legal. It just is they gain extra speed that is outside what was expected. But then Total Wolf will say the FIA approved every single phase of development. So what's the problem? But then the other teams, like Ekman, you yourself said, it destroys parity. It destroys competition. So really, it's just, I guess it's the what the FIA need in terms of politics. Which one causes more mayhem? Is it destroying merit, Mercedes building the car on its own, or destroying commercial?
I just feel like for me, like, look, maybe it's because they're looking at it's the new regulations, it's the new era of these engines. It's a new rules, new new systems, and new, like I said, new regulations. Right? Maybe they're thinking, all right, we've just gone into new regulations. We've hardly tested the car. How are Mercedes being allowed to upgrade, but we're not? It's almost as if like every other car feels it's a bit unfair because they've tried to upgrade during new regulations many times. Maybe they're just waiting to see how the new regulations unfold before they make the upgrades. But Mercedes being accepted the upgrade is why maybe they're thinking, all right, it's unfair for us because we didn't get accepted of it years back, but now how are they being accepted? It's not fair. That's why everyone's like they're revolting against it. You know, they've voted against that because maybe they're looking at, all right, this is a new regulation this year. This is a new year, new regulations, new engines. Maybe it's gonna be even. Maybe it's gonna be more even. Maybe they've tested the cars out prior, and then they thought, all right, this is gonna be an even year. So they're wondering, oh shit, now how are Mercedes gonna make it unfair now? So they all decided against Mercedes, and fair enough. If you feel like it's unfair, I can't complain because I'm not the one behind. I'm not the one behind these the engine upgrades. I'm not the one at the garage. I'm not the one at the testing. I can't tell you how fast these engines will be. But come the start of the race, come the start of the season, we'll only tell. Time will only tell.
Yeah, but I think Ekevin, like Tifosi and I were saying last stream, I don't know the argument against overruling this Mercedes engine compression loophole. Because what law did they break? I'm going to keep asking the question. What rule did Mercedes break?
They didn't break a rule. Maybe they just felt the other teams felt it was unfair that it
Unfair that
was.
a team
It's
out
it's
hustled
destroying
and lost.
it's destroying competition. That's what they're feeling is unfair.
I mean, 100%. That is the root reason, right? It is destroying their chances of winning, which
Yeah,
hurts them historically and also financially.
because any
But
upgrade across the season, bro, they get a penalty, 20 grid penalty. Remember, they get a grid penalty, they get a time penalty, or whatnot. There's sometimes you might get a disqualification even. This is the start. This is the start of the season. Sorry, this is the start of the season preparation. Start of the season preparation
yeah, but
for everyone. They're kind of feeling that all right, they're getting the upgrade. We're not. It's not really fair for us, is it? You know, because they might have appealed for it, but they didn't get accepted.
but I couldn't. Mercedes didn't get an upgrade. This is their engine we're talking about. Your engine is built inherent in the car, and what I was trying to explain to King last time was King was saying
No,
just
that makes it faster.
yeah, but it wasn't an upgrade. This is how they built their engine, Ekevin. They built it like this. So
Yeah.
what I was trying to explain with King was like the DAS system in 2020, where Mercedes gained extra power with this gadget. It's a lot different because that was an additional gadget on the front wing. You could remove that. It was even visible when you saw the car. Whereas with this engine issue, this is at the root of the car. So if you ask Mercedes to completely redo it, you have completely hampered all of their work. You've completely undermined that. Maybe I'm not understanding it correctly, but I think the problem with this is Ekevin, it's no upgrade they got. They were given the same tools. They were given the same resources. They just built something better than Ferrari. They built something better than Red Bull. The truth is, Ekevin, from what I understand, today, in terms of the rules itself, Red Bull have built the fastest car. Their Ford
Yeah.
powertrain have somehow, despite having no experience, despite being the virgin of the Formula One grid, they have built the best car. Because even on the straights, even on the turns, especially with the 50-50 electrical balance, they somehow find a way to maximize that without damaging the rest of the conditions of the car. They have done that beautifully. I think James Vowles was saying that the Red Bull car is the benchmark. It is the complete benchmark in terms of what a Formula One car is this season. And their energy deployment strategy, they have mastered it beautifully. That 50-50 split, they were textbook and amazing. And of course, they did some tricks with their engine compression, but nothing as much as Mercedes. So they're the best team today, Red Bull. And Max Verstappen himself is saying that, you know what, we are our car is looking. He's confident. He's having fun. He's fasting well. But the problem is, they're the best team with these rules. Mercedes have just built something beyond the rules. Mercedes are like that transcendent, ascendant being. So, if all the rumors are true, Ekevin, it looks like the top three teams are Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari in that order. But at Melbourne, I would not surprise me if Ferrari run one in Melbourne because they're bringing major upgrades to Melbourne. By the way,
Major upgrades to their cognitive thinking of how to win a fucking race, or
they need that, yes.
Because how many upgrades have Ferrari made across last season but failed to win a single race?
True that.
It's been a thing for time, bro. And I hate to be negative about Ferrari, but it's just the PTSD of being a Ferrari fan, isn't it, bro? It's just the PTSD of seeing the amount of, race so-called upgrades, so-called improvements to the car, so-called, so you're what I'm talking about.
Of course.
But nothing to show for it. With absolutely nada to show for it. We've seen it time and time again. No upgrades, Nothing's changed. The same old strategies that have cost Ferrari in races. Race in, race out, week in, week out. Grand Prix in, Grand Prix out. So what upgrades are they really making? Are they upgrading their way of thinking? Are they upgrading their way of engineering a car? What? What are they upgrading?
Yeah.
Find Lewis Hamilton a fucking race engineer first, and then we can talk about upgrades, isn't it? They haven't found Lewis Hamilton a race engineer yet. So how are they supposed to do that? How are they supposed to think about how to win a race in fucking Melbourne? Bring one of his old guys from Mercedes or something. Do something, man. The season's about to start. Preseason testing is on its way. It's literally on its way.
It just happened, first batch of preseason testing.
There you go. And they still haven't found Lewis Hamilton a fucking race engineer. So how are they supposed to win?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tifosi. Facts, bro. Upgrading the HP logo, 100%. The fact that horsepower is also HP, and they still haven't got the horsepower to compete. It's crazy, bro.
They upgrading the wrong HP, but I think. But I think the other thing you talked about, the other frustration that the grid is having, not just Ferrari and their incompetence, it's every top driver has been complaining about these new regulations. Charles Leclerc said overtaking will be borderline impossible with this 50-50 electric split. Max Verstappen, you know what he called these new regulations, Ekevin? He called this Formula E on steroids. Fernando Alonso said the role of a driver is being erased in these new regulations. I think the takeaway is, Ekevin, these upgrades and improvements, we talk about Ferrari not working, F1's new regulations seem to already be failing and is disastrous. The only one thing that it's brought us is more unpredictability, because you have teams like Aston Martin and Williams so cut adrift from the pack, Mercedes so supposedly ahead. But in terms of the pure racing, in terms of skill to skill, wheel to wheel, what was supposed to bring more parity, what was supposed to bring more actual competition has now basically been who can manage their engine and electricity better. That's it. That's who's going to win the championship. The person that manages their electricity and engine better. It's not really about driver skill, not about driver thought and tangibility. So I think one concern to look out for, Ekevin, this might be the final year for three people in Formula One. Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso. Do not be surprised if all three of them leave before the end of next year. Max Verstappen especially. Verstappen's always said that 2028 he'd want to try different things in motorsport. Verstappen is obsessed. He's passionate about being a father, but being a figure in all of racing. He's not just Formula One oriented like Lewis Hamilton. So he'll go do something else. Maybe Le Mans. I don't know, maybe America. Who knows where Verstappen will go, but Verstappen is not happy. And Verstappen's always said, even if Red Bull have the fastest car, which they will have a very fast car this season, if it's not fun, he's out of there. So I think Ekevin, Formula One has a big problem because its three biggest drivers, like Max especially, the one that's supposed to be the now and the future, is out of there. So they have a bunch of problems.
Any other, and that 10 seconds of break before the race starts is extremely stupid. Anything more you want to talk about Formula One? Any other news, any other updates you have? Anything you want to bring up?
Yeah, and apart from that, today Andrea Stella came out and said that Mercedes and Ferrari are definitely quicker than us. So that's the team principal of McLaren saying that Mercedes and Ferrari are quicker than us. Oscar Piastri said the top four will be the top four teams of last year, but we don't know the order of it. And McLaren have the most problems. McLaren are struggling with the conditions of Bahrain, whereas all the other three teams seem to be flourishing in them. They also have this new chassis-oriented development, which is a little bit more subversive to the status quo. So they aren't really honing out the details as quickly as Mercedes, as Ferrari, as Red Bull. And McLaren struggles, Ekevin, have even asked them to change the procedure of the race start. because they're struggling so much with these conditions, Ekavin, McLaren are trying to change the rules of Formula One.
Yeah.
So McLaren at the moment seem to be among the four contenders the weakest. Mercedes at its peak seems to be the strongest, but Red Bull and Ferrari definitely, with these rules, if there is an engine overturn, are the favorites of this championship.
We'll see. We'll see if what do you call? We'll see if Red Bulls, not Red Bulls. What the fuck was I saying? We'll see if McLaren are right about Ferrari. We'll see. We'll see whether Mercedes are right about Ferrari. Ferrari are faster than us, according to Mercedes. Mercedes. I hope that's true. As a Ferrari fan, I hope it's true. Lance Stroll, we are 4 seconds off the pace. Don't forget about that one as well. Hope Lance Stroll's wrong, because Mercedes are faster than him by 4 seconds. Hope they're slower than him. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, I think that's all we've covered about F1. I think, unless you have any more.
Yeah, it's just that silly season has been a very fun, silly season. But I am worried, Ekavin, that Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton and Alonso might leave the sport. That's it. I'm just worried as a Formula One fan. Because if they leave the sport doesn't have superstars of their credentials.
Great.
Lando Norris is a commercial draw. Leclerc is a commercial draw. But these guys aren't competitive titans. That's my worry.
The only guy?
Yeah, but he's also not. Actually, he does have the aura. But he doesn't have the competitive gravitas.
George Russell, maybe.
Yeah, after he wins the championship, maybe.
Because when F1 Formula One comes to Thailand, let's think about how many people are going to be in for, like, in terms of, like, how many people are going to go and support Alex Albon, or if Tosana Paul comes up to the F1 and you know he gets promoted to F1 somehow, some way, and the Thai market is going to be crazy big, man, big time. So yeah, obviously you and I being from Thailand, so seeing Formula One being brought to Thailand is something massive, and I can't wait for that. In 2 years' time, it'll be here. But anyways, that's on Formula One. Unless, I'll ask you one more time. Do you have any more?
No. I'm just excited. Let's enjoy the unpredictability. It's fun.
We are going to preview the season soon. Season preview will be very, very soon, people. I think just after preseason testing, we'll do the season preview. After all that's complete, and we'll do a season preview, and we'll do a race. We'll do each race weekend preview. And don't worry, even though I'll still be, I might be going to some Formula One races this year. I'm still going to be covering Formula One. Maybe this might be live at the arena. We'll see. But anyways, we've covered a lot of what we had to cover. Still one more sport we have to go to. Basketball. NBA. Yeah. All-Star breaks. All-Star games tonight. Yeah. Did you see Damian Lillard winning the 3-point contest?
Nostalgia. Injected into my veins.
One fun fact for you: there's only ever been 3 players that have won the All-Star 3-point shooting contest 3 times. You want to guess who it is? You want to guess who it is?
I have zero idea. I mean, of course, you'd say.
Let me bring it up for you.
And I assume Steph, but I don't think he's played it enough.
No.
If not Steph, it's Larry Bird. I would say Larry Bird is one of them.
Larry Bird, correct.
Larry Bird, Damian Lillard. I don't know who the third would be.
Craig Hodges.
Okay, wow, that makes sense. I wouldn't have guessed that.
Chicago Bulls.
But that makes sense. Yeah, of course. Bulls, Jordan. Wow. That's crazy. That's really cool. I mean, it's crazy that little Dame is there. And he's won it obviously 3 times, so big up. And big up to Fuzzy. Thank you so much once again, MVP.
No worries, man. Now you're one of my most favorite subscribers out there, bro. Trust me, you're one of my most favorite subscribers I think I've ever had. Big up to you, my guy. Thank you so much for being here, man. Good night, bro. Take care, man. Take care, bro. But yeah, NBA. let's talk about All Star for a bit, because obviously that is the topic for tonight. All Star break, All Star weekend. I can't lie to you, bro. The NBA talks about being so marketable and talks about trying to be, try to be inclusive for all fans. But for fans like us, who hardly ever see NBA teams fly into Asia, how does that make us feel? Because All-Star Weekend is supposed to be a weekend full of, inclusiveness, fans from all around the world. I get it. Go to America, go to see players, go to see All-Star players compete in the All-Stars. But what about trying to take it to the rest of the world? Be more marketable, NBA. You talk about your ratings are down.
Yeah.
Fix your referees and become more marketable around the world. What do you make of All-Star Weekend, man? Because I think it's become a shit show, man.
Oh, I agree with you. I don't even think I'll watch the All Star game. If I fall asleep, I fall asleep. I'll sleep.
I've not watched it for 3 years.
Yeah, because the fact is the desire isn't there, and last year they tried it with the change rule format. But I think at the heart of it, it's not about the format; it's about the incentive. Players value a regular season game more than an all-star game. Players value winning a championship more than an all-star game. You have to make the all-star game as meaningful, as purposeful as those two, if not most. What made it so glamorous a decade ago was the commercial aspect of it, was the history with it, was the fact that Jordan, was the fact that Bird, was the fact that Magic, generation after generation, if you were a great from a legacy perspective, the All-Star game was a hallmark of that. Today, if you're in the All-Star game, you'd rather sit it out than actually succeed in it. Today, your best players, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, could not give 10 cents about the All-Star game. They do not care. The problem about the All-Star game isn't Team World versus Team USA. You're going to see today, it's going to be more about a circus, a theatrics of shots, rather than actual an onslaught of competition. The problem is the incentives. The players aren't being given an outstanding reason to prioritize the All-Star game. The truth is, the All-Star game, I think if you gave players a cash reward or you gave them a historical achievement, then 100% they would do whatever it takes to win in the All-Star game, and the All-Star game would be glamorous again. What that incentive is, I'm not sure. It's about incentives, and Ekevin, I'm with you. It just seems more like a fair for sponsors, a fair for commercial interests, rather than actually competitiveness. And the biggest takeaways about the All-Star game is just another number, but it just feels like a number. It doesn't feel like there's a story behind the number. So I don't All-Star game today, you expect Team USA to win unless Luka and Jokic try. But then again, what is the point? And that's the first problem. After we go from the All-Star game, it's not like the NBA is suddenly all glooming again. We have a big issue of tanking at the moment. Tanking, Ekevin, is an existential issue. You talk about teams like the Utah Jazz. So many times recently, they have been winning heading into the fourth quarter, but then they bench Lauri Markkanen. They bench their core players to lose games. This isn't just the Utah Jazz problem. This is across the entire conference. The Wizards are going to do the same thing. The Pacers are going to do the same thing.
They were told the Celtics were going to tank as well. Don't forget, they were going to told that we were going to tank. We were going to, go for a pick, lose games on purpose. This is the mentality in the NBA now. Is that teams are trying to aim to purposely lose just to get a draft pick. Get a reward for it, bro. Get a reward for it. What's the reward for it? If teams are in the playoffs, why don't you do a mini team tournament to get the first overall pick?
Yes.
Or make the NBA Cup more valuable. Make the NBA Cup more valuable. If you win the NBA Cup but your team doesn't make the playoffs, reward them with the pick. Make the NBA Cup worth fighting for. Nobody cares about the NBA Cup. No team wants to win the NBA Cup. They look at it as pointless. It's because you combine it with the regular season. And one thing with the regular season is you have way too many games as well. The regular season has, in my opinion, 82 games is way too much.
I
Way,
look.
way. I'm thinking 72 games is enough.
Yeah, I mean, look at OKC. They're already resting. They're already going to rest Shea soon. The top
Yeah.
teams are already going to manage their players. The top and the bottom basically give up halfway through the season. It's done. OKC will not need to actually focus on the season as much. The play-in was a great addition because the play-in made the middle of the pack.
Play-in, great addition. Keep the play-in.
But the play-in did it. That's the thing. The play-in added incentive. How are you going to fix that at the top? How are you going to fix that at the bottom? Ekovin's idea of this tournament, this lottery tournament, I love it. My only issue with the lottery tournament is, and this isn't a logistics issue, what about pick swaps? What about trading picks? Because what if teams trade picks, right? Their pick is gone that year, but they're in the lottery tournament. So would the team that has the pick play in the lottery tournament? Or if they wouldn't, why would that team care about the lottery tournament? So there are a couple logistical issues with the lottery tournament. Is that not a valid pushback?
To be fair with you, though, I forgot to add, Dallas Mavericks got the first overall pick for being 500 last year, isn't it? For being at 500 last year. They weren't even that bad. They made
but that was a lottery. That wasn't any incentive.
But what was your question again? Let me answer that.
My question was, I love a lottery tournament, but there are a couple logistical issues.
For sure. I agree.
But there are a couple logistical issues. Ekovin, these days in trades, most teams trade their picks alongside their players. If teams trade their picks, their top picks, like OKC will have some picks, Clippers will have some picks. If they trade their picks away, like this season, should the Clippers play in the play-in tournament or should OKC play in it? Because Clippers pick would go to OKC. So what happens? So I'm saying these are some questions that may hinder a full-on lottery tournament, but it's definitely better than the current thing that we have.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I like this idea of a lottery tournament, but it needs to be in a time where it does not, I'd say, steal attention from the playoffs. You need to turn your attention to the summer, because when is the NBA draft? That's usually 3 weeks after the NBA finals. The NBA draft is 3 weeks after the NBA finals.
Yeah, it's end of June, early July.
You might as well do the lottery tournament after the NBA season ends, after the NBA finals, so you don't steal attention from. So for example, you don't steal attention from. We're gonna win. No, we're gonna play the NBA playoffs during the same time as the lottery tournament. No, the lottery tournament should be during. Actually, I lied. It could be during the week of. It could be during the week of
Don't forget, players need a preseason though.
End of the NBA season to the playoffs. You could be thinking about that, but then again, it should be teams from 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Although no, I think the end of every season should be the championship, should be the person holding the trophy. I think shorten the regular season, have a play-in tournament, and then have also a lottery tournament at a similar time.
But the problem is, won't teams get rusty for the playoffs as well? That's my only question.
But then don't make the lottery tournament is like the FA Cup style. It's not going to be like a playoffs. It's not going to be a best of 7.
No, it'll
be a 1-game elimination or best of 3, however you want to do it. So it can be done. It can be done in a week.
It's not even though. The problem is, there's 8 teams that qualify for the playoffs. 8 teams can qualify for the playoffs for each conference, right? You have 9 and 8, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Those places will go into a play-in. Teams from the 11th place to 15th place, it's 5 teams. How are you supposed to make that an even matchup? Is my only question. Do you play East and West?
So the best team would have a bye.
Okay.
The best team would have a bye.
So 11th place will have a bye.
Yeah.
Teams in the play-in does not teams. Okay, how about this? Do teams that lose the play-in tournament go to the lottery tournament, or they stay within the playing tournament and they don't get anything at all? What do you think?
Teams that yeah, that's tough. See, if you're then I think if you're in the play-in, then yeah, because that's tough. See, because what if you top the lottery? Then will teams start to tank to avoid the play-in? That's the problem. You're right. There has to be a middle ground.
There has to be middle ground, right? Because
There has to be. What is that middle ground?
yeah, because like I said, 7, 8, 9, and 10, they all make the play in, and they face off. They face off against each other. But then, those who lose the play-in tournament, what are they going to do about it? What are they going to do about those teams? Because 2 teams lose from the play-in. Don't forget, 2 teams can lose. Some teams have to play twice in that play-in. If you lose, you're out. You know. What? Okay, how about this?
Yeah.
Teams that lose in the 9 versus 10 go straight into the lottery playoffs. Go straight into the lottery. Teams that have to play a second game don't get into the lottery tournament.
If it works out with the format of the bracket, Ekevin, I'm with you. I like that.
Because you have to do East versus West, right? Or you're gonna do mixed.
Or maybe yes, that's a good point. Should it be East versus West and the best face off in the final?
It should be East versus East, then West versus West, and then they meet
the best.
and then
Exactly.
meet the final.
Yeah, so then
as the NBA Cup. Same
right,
format.
so basically, if we're fixing the NBA, the All-Star game, we're changing it up to have some financial incentive, right? And historical achievement, right? Otherwise, players won't. That's the only way players will compete, right? And then now with the tanking issue, what we've done is we've added a lottery tournament. You and I have created a lottery tournament, and then if you're not in the lottery tournament, you're in the play-in. You're in the play-in, so then it makes it competitive the whole time. And then the first teams that lose in the play-in drop to the lottery tournament. The end of that lottery tournament is the number 1 lottery tournament winner from the East and the number 1 from the West. They face off in the final. And then the rest of the play-in, the teams that lost in the play-in, they'll be the remainder of the draft, right? The next of the top 16. Because only 16 teams make the playoff anyways.
No, you can only do 6 teams making the play-in unless, like I said, 1 team loses the very first round of that play-in tournament.
Yeah.
And then the 1 team that makes it to the next round of the play-in tournament, for example, the 9th place team that wins has to play the loser of 7th versus 8th, right? Yeah. That team does not get into the play-in tournament. That team does not make the playoffs of the lottery tournament. The ones that lose the very first round of the play-in tournament, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's 6 teams already. 6 teams plays a playoff to get to that lottery. The winner of the whole thing gets the number 1 overall pick. The loser gets the 2nd overall pick. You know? But the only issue is, how do we settle it from 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th?
Yeah, so either
how do we differentiate it? You know?
So either there are a couple ways that can so if you're not in the final, because the 2 teams in the final get 1st and 2nd, I agree. Yeah. I think that's the ultimate incentive. That's pretty straightforward and obvious. If you make the semifinals, do you get the 3rd and 4th draft pick, or do you go into a lottery system?
I have an idea. The loser of the semifinal has to play a third place battle, like how the World Cup final.
Like, I love that. But then what about the quarterfinals?
The quarterfinals, it goes by. No, I think it goes via.
Or if you do a balls draw, like put your hands in the balls again. Right? If you put your hands in the balls again, Ekevin, the quarterfinals, the round of 16, and the playing teams.
No, I think you go via record.
Make their ball proportionate to where they finished.
No, for example, if it's, for example, this is just an example, yeah.
Yeah.
If Indiana was to face New Orleans or whatever, That's just an example. All right, if they had to play in like a play-in, no, sorry, not play-in. All right, if Indiana was to play, or if New Orleans was supposed to play Memphis, right, in the quarterfinals, who has the better record gets that playoff, gets that I'd say higher pick. This is a good way to stop teams from tanking. You have to win to get a higher pick. The losing record gets the lower pick.
Mm-hmm.
In that, I'm just talking about the tournament playoffs. For example, like if it's the quarterfinals, forget semifinals. There's 8 teams in it, 8 teams in the quarters. All right, Indiana versus Washington. There's 12 teams in total, right? If not mistaken.
Yeah.
12 teams in total. How do we narrow it down to 8, though, is my question.
I'm trying to figure that out as well.
Yeah.
So,
crap. All right, no.
So,
do we?
Wait. So first of all, if it's just teams outside the play-in, it's 12 teams in the tournament, right? 6 and 6 on each side. Okay.
I'll be right back.
So that's
Yep, no problem.
So Ekavin is cooking at the moment. Real quick, because I want him to expand on that lottery idea. I don't want to talk instead of him. I'll just say briefly what Ekavin and I, if you're just tuning in, Ekavin and I are basically saying the NBA has a big incentives issue. There's a big structural issue. The NBA Cup, the All-Star Game, tanking, teams not playing players at the end of the regular season. It has a big problem up until the playoffs are played. And the NBA is borderline unwatchable. In fact, if it wasn't for things like NBA Fantasy, for example, which, by the way, I'm just going to slip it in if you clip it up, in our NBA Fantasy League with over 100 people that have ever played in it, there is only each and every single time people from all walks of life, from all backgrounds, economic status, sports status, professional players. There has only ever been one winner, by the way. I'm just going to slip that in. And also, I am about 2 games, a semifinal and a final away from going 7 in a row. If anyone wants to challenge us, please let us know. But going back to the NBA, if it wasn't for the NBA Fantasy, then the regular season would be unwatchable for me, unless you have a total unabashed loyalty to the NBA. But that's not a good strategy for entertaining basketball, but also expanding the brand, like Ekavin said, to global markets, to bigger markets. So what do you need to do? At least in my opinion, while Ekavin is gone, I think first of all, an 82-game season makes no sense. The pace of NBA games are getting faster. Integrating European coaches, integrating European styles of play, integrating global players as well, developing the game with modern technology and science. The NBA tempo and tactical nuance is improving faster than ever before. So players are getting injured at a far rapid rate. An 82-game season is a death sentence. And with the incentives being threats to get them to stop sitting back-to-backs, it obviously isn't working as much. The only player that's really benefited from Adam Silver's change is Kawhi Leonard. Apart from that, players like Embiid are still Embiiding. So what does the NBA need to do? I think, first of all, it needs to trim down the season from 82 games to 72 or 66. Because the NBA season is really unwatchable. You can still have it with the teams that you play the highest frequency with, the most matches with, are the ones you're closest geographically linked to. So then obviously your division, and then your conference, and then the rest of the league. 3 times division, 2 times conference, or 3 each, or 2 or 1 for outside the conference. Whatever you want it to be, there's absolutely no problem there either. So that's the first thing. Shorten the NBA season down. The second issue, coming into the midseason, every time we enter February, the top teams seem to begin to stop playing their big dogs because they're already through to the playoffs. The bottom teams seem to be sitting out their players in fourth quarters or on back-to-backs because it's better to lose than to win. So to fix this whole lottery mess, you have a lottery tournament. Seeds 11 to 15 in each conference, they go into a tournament. The winner of that tournament gets the number 1 pick. The loser gets the second pick. The rest of the tournament, either you do it in that order, they get basically the rewards, right? So if you're in the semis, you get 3rd or 4th. The quarters, 5th to 8th, etc. Or everyone outside the finalists are in a lottery ball. You could decide which one makes sense. Would this work logistically? Absolutely. Because it's a one-style elimination tournament, you could have this being played the week before the playoffs. It could take 1 week, done. Same time as the play-in. Doesn't even need to contradict and convene with the schedule. It would gain so much national attention. And yeah, in the first season, the teams that finish 11th or 12th would probably win it, given the philosophies of how they've trended as teams. Instead of stockpiling on picks, they've also been balanced with players. But eventually, after season 2, season 3, all your worst teams would be super competitive. You're basically giving everyone a safety net at the bottom while also improving everyone at the top equally. So a lottery tournament would be great. And then All-Star weekend. Um, look, we're in a time in a world where there's a lot of inequality and disparity. But the one thing that would make players compete is if the winning team gets a significant cash prize to the losing team. That's the first thing. You would compete hard and fair, but you also want the All-Star game also to have competitive meaning and also cohesion and chemistry. So while Nick Wright proposed something very radical, like a white versus black All-Star game, that wouldn't work logistically, just with the message the NBA is trying to promote. So instead, financial incentive, maybe $1 million for the winning team, 500,000 for the losing team, or none for the losing team, only for the winning team, and then a legacy incentive. Maybe All-Star MVP is tied to Hall of Fame voting criteria. I don't know. Make the All-Star game meaningful in the history of the NBA. Like when we talk about Jason Tatum, when we talk about Damian Lillard, when we talk about whoever's All-Star MVP, no one gives a shit anymore. But if you were All-Star MVP 15 years ago, that was like, oh my God, you should be inducted in the Hall of Fame. So that's the other thing. Then the fourth thing is the NBA Cup. Look, the NBA Cup, it was a fun revelation. The Lakers won it. The Lakers won it. Okay, great. But who's cared about it since? The only reason it was relevant was because big market franchises were winning. If it was Charlotte versus Detroit, no one would care. No one would bat an eyelid on it. And the truth is your product has to be bigger than any other franchise. Right? The franchises have to be beneath the product. The franchises should elevate and transcend the game, but you shouldn't be dependent on them. Like in tennis, or in F1, if Hamilton, Verstappen, Alonso retire, your product should still sustain its viewership. So Ekman says the NBA Cup is pointless. Yeah, at the moment it really is. Unless you tie it into some incentive, unless you make it as valuable as the FA Cup. And the FA Cup also has this problem. There needs to be a proper reward for it. Does the team that wins the NBA Cup an automatic spot, a bye in the first round of the playoffs? Maybe that would destroy it, so no. Does that team get some financial reward? Do they get a top 16 pick protected? Do they get extra cap space? I mean, Ekman, these are fun ideas. They might, with the NBA Cup, you can do it in free agency. You can spend more if you win the NBA Cup. That's a great idea. I just came up with that. Adam Silver, get him on the phone. David Stern, Spirit, are you there? I mean, like, dude, you can do a billion different things with the NBA Cup. I think that would be sick. And then with the playoffs, of course, then you have your playoffs, which if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Your playoffs are absolutely precise and prestigious, as it is. So at the bottom line, what I'm basically saying is the NBA has an incentives problem. That's what it has. It has an 82-game season where towards the last 40 games, half the league is either checked out, focused on the playoffs. The other half are purposefully trying to lose games to get a higher draft pick. Then you have the All-Star game, a cultural phenomenon for most of the NBA's history, has become a venue for charity, a venue for cohesion, a venue for fun, rather than actual function, a venue for just chatting around and making connections. So, yeah, it's incentives. And I think this system that we created of a 66-game league and then an NBA Cup where same format, but the winner can spend more in free agency. The winner gets an additional, a draft pick. The winner gets a couple more rewards. And then the All-Star game, each player gets financial incentives and eligibility for the Hall of Fame. And then also the NBA playoffs itself, a lottery tournament. I think that's the way to fix the NBA. Boom. Came up with that on camera. Done. I'm going to drink water for those who are still watching, if anyone is still watching. And then maybe I'll do it in the form of a clip that Ekman can post in about a few seconds. There's yeah, cool. We got some people watching this stream, so I will do that. Let's go. Ready, guys? This is breaking the fourth wall. This is kayfabe. I'm gonna film this on my phone as well while you are there. Um, I basically the problem with the NBA is the incentives. The fact of the matter is we have an 82 game season. 40 games into the season, halfway through the season, half the league has checked out. The top dogs are talking about resting their players, not playing back to backs, already focused on the postseason. The bottom dogs, the teams that are struggling, are trying to lose purposefully to get a higher lottery pick than to actually compete in the regular season. The whole system is screwed up. And then you have the All Star game. What was a hallmark, a cultural phenomenon, has turned into a place where players exploit for their vacations. They go there to have fun, shed zero intensity. The All Star game is effectively pointless. The NBA Cup, the new addition that was added, was supposed to be the equivalent of the FA Cup. Instead, it's a time for teams to rest their players or to not care as much. And exactly. And then how do you solve that? You add incentives. So with the lottery, instead of trying to lose, the best worst teams that win get the first draft pick. That's why the play. And then with the All-Star game, every player that wins gets $1 million financial reward.
FA Cup gets Europa League. FA Cup gets you Europa League, whereas NBA Cup, what does it get you? Does it get you nothing? Okay, look, maybe you could add these incentives. Maybe a higher draft pick. Maybe an automatic first-round pick. Maybe more cap space, like you mentioned. I hear that completely. That cap space rule might be great. Especially for teams who are rebuilding, they're going to want to try and win this one so badly.
I just came up with that on the spot. I love it, by the way.
It's a great idea. But I also think that maybe teams that are tanking could maybe try to win the NBA Cup as part of an additional first-round pick for the season, for the upcoming season. You get an additional first-round pick for the upcoming season, and if you lose that, and if you and it's an untradeable pick, you cannot trade that pick. It's an automatic pick given to you by the NBA, right? And hear me out on this one.
Yeah.
You might get an automatic play-in spot.
For the play-in, if you win the NBA Cup.
Yeah, automatic play-in spot.
And I thought of that, Ekevin, but same with the FA Cup.
Or home court advantage in the playoffs if you make it.
I like that. But so what? You get home court advantage for all the conference games that you qualify for?
Unless you play the team that finishes first.
Okay, I like that. I'm with you. We shake hands. I like that.
Unless you play the team that finishes on top of the conference, then you get home court advantage up until.
So our NBA Cup at the moment. I'm writing this down so we remember it.
All right, cool.
So the NBA Cup is the winner of the NBA Cup gets extra cap space to spend.
Cap space.
They also in the playoffs.
An extra pick.
An extra draft. So extra cap space, extra draft pick, and also in the playoffs they get home court advantage for the entire conference.
That pick could turn into a lottery pick if you make that lottery tournament. It's an extra pick, but it could turn into a lottery pick.
Oh, so should we have them play? Should we have them play in the lottery tournament too? Or no, too OP. Because what if like San Antonio or OKC win it?
Oh no, it depends. No, it depends. For example, if Charlotte was to win the whole thing, but this is just an example. Yeah, if Charlotte were not doing well, and they were to win the whole thing, they would automatically get a first overall. Not first overall pick. They would automatically get a draft pick with extra cap space to spend, plus maybe a play-in spot. If you lose that play-in spot, you fall into the lottery tournament, and you're able to still compete for that lottery pick. But except if you win that NBA Cup, your reward is higher than the teams already competing in that lottery tournament.
Wow.
Make the NBA Cup more worth fighting for, and
Yeah.
shorten the regular season because you should
That
make
could
the
have been
NBA Cup
66 or 72.
72. I'll tell you why.
So how does 72 work? Is it 4 with your division, 2 with your conference, 2
Oh
with
no,
the
no,
other?
no. I think 66 works actually.
So wait. Obviously, you want to play most times with your own division, right?
How about this? 3 times with your division.
I agree. 2
No,
with your
3.
conference.
No, 2. No, 3 with your conference. 2 with the opposition still. So I'll go actually I'll go 72.
Yeah, and you
I'll
don't
go,
need extra games then.
no. 72 is fine. I think 3 times you play on the road. 3 times you play on the 3
Is
times you
72 fine?
Yeah, no, I think it is. You know why? It's
If you add the
because
NBA Cup incentive, yeah, okay.
make the NBA Cups a separate thing. Don't make it a regular season thing. Like don't add it to the regular season record. That's how I would do it. And also, I just need to add something real quick. Yeah, you're actually allocated 80 games a season. The extra 2 games are added based on the NBA Cup. If you lose the NBA Cup, the extra 2 games are based on that. So, if, for
Isn't it
example, no, because the Celtics lost in the first round in the group stage of the NBA Cup, right? What
Yeah.
happened was the Celtics were then given an extra 2 games
okay?
in the regular season. You're already allocated 80 teams in the season, 80 games in the season. Then you're given 2 more games depending on your NBA Cup fate, right? So we were given another Milwaukee Bucks game, whereas it absolutely makes no sense. We had to go to Milwaukee 3 times, bro, this season. You know, my thing is, why don't you add an extra game of a team that you haven't played, or a team that you're not supposed to play? For example, last season, right? We should have played Indiana on the road again. We played Indiana at home twice, played them on the road once. We played Washington Wizards 3 times on the road last season, and played 1 time at home last year. Or 2 times at home last year. We played them 5 times in the season, bro. It doesn't make sense.
Which is crazy. You don't need to
It
play them 5 times.
You should
I
be
think
given,
3 times.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. You should already be given an automatic fixture to a team that you haven't played.
Or Kevin, how about?
We're going to Milwaukee 3 times this season. You know,
Yeah, it's absurd. It's just repetitive, repetitive ridiculousness. But can I ask you?
Please.
Maybe not 4 times for your division. How about 3 times? Because then you have a best stuff incentive. Because then you want to win the series. If it's 4 times, you can draw at 2-2. 3 times is best of 3.
Exactly. 3 times is good. 3 times in a regular season is good.
Yeah, 3 times for your division.
Yeah, exactly. So if you win that,
conference can be some can be 3, some can be 2.
Or even better, follow the NFL format. Win your division and you get automatic playoffs. You know how in the NFL, right? When you win your division,
yeah, of course, yeah.
You know how if you win your division in the NFL, you get automatic playoff qualification.
Yeah.
Even if your record is worse than
it's lower than the second team in another division.
For example, Tampa Bay, I think their record was better than some, but yet they still finished below because they didn't win their conference. Sorry, they didn't win their division. How about if you win your division, you got automatic playoffs? And teams get a bye, and the top teams get a bye
in the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then the NBA playoffs, then the allure of versus 8. That's the problem. I like it, but
okay, no, that doesn't make sense. I can't lie to you.
No, it does. But then if they get a bye, then the 9th team gets in the playoff too.
Should we just scrap the play-in tournament? I know it sounds weird after
the play-in tournament. Nah.
9, 10, 11,
I think
12, 14.
Nah, I think. Or then you either do a 1 versus 8 playoffs, 9 versus 15 lottery. But I think the play-in tournament makes something meaningful for everyone. Because there are still going to be teams that are still like the best of the rest. There's still going to be that inequality. But you see, with the regular playoffs, it's the best teams. The play-in, everyone fights for. And if you lose the play-in, it's better than tanking because then you go into the lottery playoffs. You're good enough to get the first pick. So I think the play-in is absolutely vital to all of this.
How about this? 9th gets a bye. 10th versus 11th, 12th versus 13, 14 versus 15. Then the 9th place teams gets a bye in that tournament. So you know how NFL tournament works.
But then we scrap the play-in.
No. That's only teams that lose the play-in tournament games.
Okay.
Eliminated from the play-in.
Yeah.
So if you get eliminated from the play-in, you all of a sudden have to go and play that lottery tournament. Remember, lottery tournament game. So you have 2 games. So 9th place is the team that plays twice but loses. Remember 9th versus 10th? Remember the 9th versus 10th one? The loser of that game is out. The winner of that one goes to play an extra game. And the loser of that extra game is the 9th place team. That will be the 9th place team that has to
in the
play.
other conference.
Exactly.
And then 10th are out completely.
Sorry? Say that again?
Is 10th out? Is the 10th team out completely then?
10th is out completely from the play-in tournament.
But then they go into the lottery tournament.
They go into the lottery tournament automatically in 10th place. So that's decided. The 11th to 15th is already decided based on the standings of the conferences.
Yeah, so it'd be 11 versus 15, 12 versus...
Yeah, exactly.
Wait.
Or it's
it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
10 versus 15, 12 versus 13, 14th versus
11th.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, then you do that. Yeah.
And then
Wait,
9th gets a bye.
Yeah, the 9th gets a bye in the conference. Wait, hold on. So 10 versus 15, 11 versus 14, 12 versus 13, 9 gets a bye. Yeah.
9th gets a bye. They go and play the team that finishes
in the lowest half bracket.
No. 12 versus 13.
No, 9th would play.
No, 10th versus 15th one.
Yeah, you'd have a repeat.
So 9th versus 15th. So it could be 9th versus 15th. 15th wins.
Or do you want to do it even? Do you want to even do it more crazy for the sake of it? Do you want to have it where the 9th place Eastern Conference goes into the Western side just for the change of matchup?
9th versus 9th in the Western 9th versus 9th on the East.
No. So if you're the 9th place team, instead of being in the West bracket or the East bracket, they flip. So the 9th place Eastern team is in the West bracket. The 9th place Western team is in the East bracket. Just to flip it, to change your matchup.
Makes sense.
No, it doesn't. Okay, then are we going to arcade mode? Okay.
No, so how about this? So it's 9th versus. Okay, so 9th gets a bye. So the winner of 10th versus 15th is one team.
Yeah.
The winner of 12th versus 13th is one team. The winner versus 11 of 14th is one team. That's still 4 teams. So that's a quarterfinal, to be honest with you. 9th versus...
Wait. Okay.
9th versus 10th to 15th. Okay, so 10th to 15th is one team. Winner of that is one team. Winner of 11th and 14th is one team. Winner of 12th and 13th is one team. And then the 9th place team is 4 teams. Because you know how divisional rounds work, right?
Yeah.
Divisional rounds are still... Not so divisional rounds. Wild card rounds is second to 8th. Or 2nd to 7th. I don't remember.
Wait. So if we're coming back to this, Ekevin, if we're coming back to this.
No, 7 teams. 7 teams.
Okay. 10 to 15, 11 to 14.
No,
but
2nd to 7th. First bye.
Yeah, but Ekevin, it makes sense. If it's look, if it's 10 to 15, 12 to 13, 11 to 14, 9 versus 10 to 15, and then 12 versus 11. It makes sense. 9 versus 10, 12 versus 11, 9 versus 11. It makes sense. It adds up.
No, but then what about 12, what about 13, 14, and 15?
They were out in the earlier rounds. They played in the tournament. They were out. No, I'll show. I'll put it. Wait, I'll
Okay,
put it in chat.
okay, how
Let
about
me put it in
this?
chat. Let me put it in chat.
The team that finishes 15th. Oh, I even have a crazier idea.
Go for it.
15th versus 15th, 14th versus 14th, 13th
I
versus
love that
13th,
as well. Yeah, I thought
12
about
versus
that. That
12,
is
11th versus 11.
10 versus 10.
So this is for the top 5 picks in the draft, okay? So for example, 15th versus 15th is it's going to be for the first overall pick. Not
No.
I should not hold. No.
No, I give it. Everybody would tank then.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
No, I give it. Everybody would tank then. Hold up. That ain't work.
No.
Wait, no. I'm just gonna write it down in the chat. Wait.
10th
Ready?
versus 10th. 10th versus 10th gets first overall pick. How about that? 10th versus 10th gets first overall pick. Does that make sense to you?
10 versus 10 gets the. Nah. I think a lottery tournament makes more sense, because then you would. Because Ekevin, then the teams that are out, that can't be in 10, out of reach in 10, wouldn't compete. Ekevin, read my comment. I like the idea. Read my comment real quick. I just.
Okay, I'll bring this up. 10th versus 15th, 12 versus 13th, 11 versus 14th, 9th seed by into the conference semifinals. The conference
lottery.
semifinals of the
Lottery conference semifinals, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I meant in the first round. That's what I meant in the first place, anyways.
Yeah, so then it would be 9 versus 14, 10 versus 12, then 10 versus 9, and then whoever wins goes into that Western versus Eastern, the best of the lottery tournament winners. This is 4 games, can take place in 1 week.
3, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2.
Yeah.
Wait. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 4 teams meet.
Yeah, so it can take place over 1 week. You can do this in the week before the playoffs. No rust, no nothing. We already have 1 week break before the playoffs, anyways. So
Conference semi
works.
So the conference finals.
Yeah.
Conference finals would be 1,
good.
so, okay, so 1, 2, 3. 3 teams meets the 9th team. All right, so winner
So then,
of 1, 2,
3, 4. There are 4 winners heading into the conference semifinals.
So which one of these meets the 9th seed then? 10th
Yeah, so that's what we have to decide now. Would it be the 10 seed again? Probably.
I think 10th versus 15th, because 10th is the higher seed, right?
Yeah.
Don't forget, 2nd versus 3rd will have to meet. Sorry, 2nd versus 7th. Then the winner of 2nd versus 7th will have to meet the 3rd place winner of 3rd place versus 6th place.
Yes. Then 12 meets 11.
Yes, 12 meets 11th. Yes. So at the moment, so winner of 10th versus 15th, that's one team. Winner of 12
so
versus 13.
9 versus Ekevin, 9 versus 10, 12 versus 11. Yeah.
9 versus 10th or 15th, 12 versus 11th or 14th.
Versus
12 or 13th versus
exactly.
11th or 14th. Okay, so cool. So that's 4 teams already, right? The winner of those 2 teams meets it's the conference finals. The winner of that meets the West team for the finals.
And then the winner of that tournament is the number 1 pick in the draft. And then there'll be a 3rd place matchup gets the 3 and 4 in the draft.
Yeah. So
and then the rest of it is lottery still. Yeah.
The rest of it is decided based on records. So whoever has the better record, whoever has the more winning record,
I love that.
And the better, or a better head-to-head record, if it's tied on record, gets into the order.
Touche.
It took me this long to figure it out. I couldn't believe it took me this long to figure it out, man. Fuck it out.
Touche. No. We just Ekevin, we just fixed it. We just fixed the NBA tank. But there's one issue we didn't talk about.
Go on.
These pick swaps. Like I said, if
I also mentioned that if you win the NBA Cup, you get an untradeable pick. You get an untradeable first round pick. You cannot trade that first round.
but that's winning the NBA Cup. But I'm saying like Clippers this year, if they finish low, the OKC take their pick. So that's the problem. What happens with the pick?
I think we have to cancel pick. I think no. Pick swaps are fine.
You can't cancel trading picks because then if you cancel trading picks,
no, it's pick swaps are pick swaps are competitive.
Or actually, hang on a minute.
How could OKC guess that the Clippers were going to be shit?
Well, that's why they trade.
That's on Clippers for being shit. You know what I mean? But I agree. Pick swaps might be a bad thing.
But it's definitely a solvable problem. It's 100% solvable. It's not impossible. It's not.
How do you think that's solvable though? Like in terms of
so then you would have protected picks. Then you would have the top 4 cannot ever be traded. The teams would. So teams would have to fight.
So you're saying teams that finish in the or bottom 4, excuse me.
No, the top 4. No, so I'm saying the lottery tournament. The lottery tournament itself.
How about
whoever wins the 4 teams that win the lottery tournament, they get to keep their picks, even if they trade it.
Pick swap should be an automatic thing. It should be an automatic thing between teams that are in qualify for the playoffs. For example, if Detroit misses out on the playoffs, it's just an example, right? Detroit are the first seed in the East in real life. It's just a fantasy world. If Detroit don't make the playoffs, they finish in that lottery sort of area. They have a pick. They're allowed to have a pick swap between teams of their choice in that lottery. But you cannot do a lottery. You cannot do a pick swap between teams in the top half. Teams that make the playoffs, you cannot do a pick swap between them. Does that make sense? You can only do a pick swap between teams in the bottom half. Or if you're gonna do a pick swap, teams that make the playoffs are not allowed to get a lottery pick.
I don't hate that, but I think that still the problem with the pick swaps is if you no longer are in custody of your pick, why would you care for the lottery tournament? That's the problem.
Then you should be forced to trade.
No, but that's what I'm saying. If you make it where every team that goes deep in the lottery tournament, no matter what you've traded it to, you get to keep that pick for that year, then you will always care about the tournament.
But then this is why I also add if you win the NBA Cup, you get
another fact.
Get the automatic first round pick, untradeable, unstoppable. You can't nobody gets a pick ahead of you. It's your own pick. You win that pick from the NBA.
No, I think you can do whatever you want with that pick, but you just get a good pick, a first round pick.
Yeah, I think a first round pick is fair.
Yeah,
maybe like a top 15 pick.
Yeah, a lottery pick, a top 15.
Automatic top 15 pick. This is only for teams that are tanking though. If you win, if you make the playoffs, you lose that pick. I forgot to add. If you make the playoffs, you lose.
If you make the playoffs, you go in with the rest of the order of the lottery, and you get like the number 31st pick. I don't know. Or how about that? If you win, if you're a playoff team and you win, you get back-to-back picks.
Playoff team and you win what?
The NBA Cup. You get back-to-back picks. So wherever you are in the draft, you get back-to-back picks because you won the NBA Cup.
No, you'll still be able to own your own picks like that. You have.
No, but that's what I mean. But you get so like if the Celtics win the NBA Cup and you get the 23rd draft pick, then you get 24th as well because you won the NBA Cup. You get back-to-back in the first round. You get
back-to-back in the first round. You mean?
Yeah, because you won the NBA Cup, you get 2 picks in the first round, 2 inherent picks.
I don't know about back-to-back picks, but I think you should definitely own like 2 first-round picks.
You get two of your own first-round picks.
Okay, yeah, 2 of your own first-round picks, and it has to be with only picks from the following year, not the picks from the previous year. It has to be picks from the upcoming year.
Okay,
that's fair.
Absolutely.
So we proposed this plan. NBA, if you're watching, you must.
Dude, it's so worth. I think we genuinely, I think we have solved the NBA Cup issue, the All-Star issue, the lottery issue.
Man, get your ass over here to Asia, man.
Yeah, that's another one.
Make the NBA more marketable, man. I
So
get it. You have experience Abu Dhabi and all that crap.
yeah,
Get your ass over to Asia.
but I have one more question about the NBA if we have a bit of time. I think there's one more issue we didn't
We
touch.
have plenty of time, bro. I can go on
Yeah.
for another hour if you like. I'm good.
We have one issue we didn't touch. What
Go on.
about teams resting their players? That's also an issue.
Okay.
So like the top, Ekman, the top 8, once they've made the playoffs and they're around that area or your top seed, you're gonna rest players. How do we prevent
You're
that?
allowed to rest players based on a condition or based on an injury report that you already have on that season.
Then teams would just fake it. It's easier to fake.
No, it has to be a legitimate report. You can't be.
But how do you know? But you can just say eye injury, neck injury, no injury.
Okay. How about this? Then? You're allowed maximum 10 times to rest per year, and it has to be within different of 2 weeks with each other.
10 games you can take off.
10 games you can take off, but you're only allowed to take off 2 weeks up. 2 weeks from each other.
Too much. I think that's way too much. If we're having a 72
it's a 72 game season, and you're only eligible for how many games a season? You're only eligible for how many games, like in terms of like awards.
No. But Ekman, my problem is fans pay so much money to see their players. If their players are gonna pre-plan their rest, can't do that. It would destroy the commercial.
Oh, I have an idea to bin rest. Bin back-to-back games. Bin it.
Yeah, then you're done. Then job.
No back-to-backs. Done. Unless you have an injury, then.
Yeah, then done. Yeah, in a 66 game season or 72 game season, no back-to-backs. Yeah. That's why.
Bro, this is why I'm saying bro, does it make sense? Let me ask you this. The Celtics had to fly from Cleveland all the way to Minnesota to Cleveland on a night of a back-to-back. We had to fly from Brooklyn to Chicago on a night of a back-to-back. We had to fly from fucking I don't know, man. It's crazy. Like, what? How are you allowed to travel on a back-to-back, on a road trip, on a back-to-back? And this doesn't make sense. The fact that you get into that city at 3 a.m. in the morning, you barely get enough rest, and you have an NBA game at night already. Bro, back-to-backs are pointless. Spin it. Make it a 66 game season or a 72 game season, whatever it is. Bin back-to-backs. Bin it. Or scrap all we've talked about, bin the NBA Cup, and make it a 72 game season, period.
I think Ekman, we need the NBA Cup, and a meaningful NBA Cup we 100% need. 72 games,
or turn the summer league into the lottery thing. Turn the summer league, play in Vegas, and make that the lottery tournament.
No. I hope they don't do that. I think our lottery tournament is far more meaningful because then all the best players play for the teams.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, scrap the summer league and turn that into the lottery tournament.
No, but I think the lottery tournament should take, because players need an off season. They can't play during 2 months after the season. I think that the lottery tournament should be the 1 week before the playoffs. Because Ekman, it's 4 games.
No, because you have to do the playing tournament. Don't forget playing tournament.
Yeah, but then you make it a 8 day break from the playoffs. You already have that. So,
or how about this? Make sure that all games are televised.
Yeah,
all games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because no one's gonna want to watch that. Because you know what it is, for example.
Yeah, prime time.
Yeah, prime time. Because the problem is not every game is being shown, and the problem is we should have 1 day of playoffs, next day lottery day, and then the next day playoffs every 2 days.
Nah.
Because you know why? You know why? It's because in the first round, right? In the first round of the playoffs, they play every 3 days. The first round games happen every 3 days. Remember that? For example, Celtics played Miami.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's every 3 days
We
at
played,
first.
we
Yes,
played we played every 3 days.
yes. So then,
All the
okay,
first round matches start. East starts at our
but
own time. The West starts at their own time.
so then, yeah, the lottery tournament ends into the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
So then, like the let's say the Saturday, the Sunday, it should be Sunday 8 p.m. or Saturday 8 p.m. The lottery tournament final,
Yeah.
not a weekday. It should be like the prime time slot, 8 p.m.
Well, how
And
about
like,
just
dude,
start? How about
uh,
this? Just start 2 days after the season ends. Might as well start right away.
start. Yeah, no, start exactly.
Start.
Start. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So actually, Akevin, how about this? How about this? Yeah, start right then, and then the Saturday and the final. The final should be on a Saturday. Imagine this, Akevin. Victor Wembanyama, the first round draft pick. The Spurs are facing off against the Mavericks to see who gets Victor Wembanyama. Dude, that'd be fucking sick. Saturday
Yeah.
8 p.m. I mean, like, come on, everyone would watch it. Everyone would watch it.
But the only problem is, how do people know that that guy will be the first overall pick? It's a decision based.
Yeah, yeah. But that's the thing.
On
That's why you want to win for choice. But yeah.
no, of course, but sometimes like we remember one time we all thought Cam what was it? James Wiseman was going to be the first
Number
overall
one.
pick, but it was Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Remember? That was based on a choice made by Minnesota and Golden State.
And it worked out.
And it worked out. So this is what I mean. Like you have to go based off of franchises' choices.
Yeah, I don't know. No. I'm not saying
race
wait,
for example, race for AJ DeBanza.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen. Who knows
Wait.
AJ overall pick? Who knows what the date?
Hold up. Now, I didn't mean you decide who gets drafted by the NBA. I just meant I meant in a draft class, like a Wemby draft class or a Zion draft class. You know who's gonna go first. A Cooper draft class. I meant ESPN can market it like that. Like the winner is gonna pick Wembanyama. The winner will get the first round pick and probably pick Wembanyama.
Yeah, I get that.
That's what I mean. I don't mean it in the sense of course not. That would be awful. So if they had to manage it, but Ekman, I think we fixed the NBA very well.
No, we have. I 100% agree. Wholeheartedly agree. We can definitely discuss this on the NBA show that's coming up as well, because we do have the midseason talk. We are going to preview the regular season. Anything more you want to add on the NBA? Because I'm sure we have lots to talk about.
No, I mean apart from that, we have an All-Star game tonight.
Finish off with one, please.
NBA, we have an All-Star game today. Who cares really? Going to be a bunch of a circus act, and then the NBA will just get ramped up, and then playoff time will be very, very fun. It looks like OKC no longer are the top dogs. The Spurs are probably favorites in the West as well. Denver, don't discount them with Nikola Jokic. The Rockets as well, you don't know. Timberwolves, the Lakers, you laugh at me, but Luka, LeBron fit. You cannot write.
I hear you.
You can't write them off. And then on the East, the Boston Celtics with the returning Jason Tatum. My goodness, second place without Tatum, first place with Tatum and the new Nikola Vucevic. The Celtics are favorites to come out the East. The Detroit Pistons, hard, gritty, fast, tough, nuts basketball with JB Bickerstaff as well. And then you obviously have teams like the Cleveland Cavaliers with James Harden now. This is complete cinema. You have a super unpredictable postseason. Where there is no clear-cut favorite. Did I miss a team? The Bucks, the Sixers? I can't think. Who did I miss? I don't think I missed a team. Or the Knicks. The Knicks, of course.
Yeah, I was going to say some team with the Buckers in them. Knickerbockers.
Yeah, the Knickerbockers. Don't forget them as well. The NBA Cup winners. So, yeah, look, it is going to be an absolutely tremendous season. That's a clippable moment right there.
100%.
I'm looking forward to it, yeah. And I mean, you had a point to it.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think the NBA needs to be more marketable in terms of like what destinations. For example, All-Star break. Get the players out to like Hawaii, for example.
Yeah, it's fun. That's sick. Yeah.
Because that would be a good All-Star break. Yeah, you're out in Hawaii hooping with the All-Stars. You get like good facilities, good how do you say it? Good hospitality.
Well, there's only one problem with that: the fans traveling.
Oh no
Most
no
fans.
no 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 need, because there are NBA fans already in Hawaii. Don't forget.
Okay, so we're catering to Hawaii. Okay. So 1 year
And
Hawaii, 1 year Puerto Rico.
Tampa Bay, Cincinnati. You're talking Pittsburgh. You're talking you're talking places like Seattle, who hasn't seen playoffs and who hasn't seen the NBA in a very long time. Talk about you know Vancouver, Cancun. You're talking um, who else? Maine. You're talking Rhode Island. You're talking so many places in
And
America. Even the Bahamas.
yeah,
Bro, that would be a great place for the NBA players to go out and play some basketball and enjoy a good time. Because imagine the scene of the Atlantis, right? And you get to see, like, for example, NBA players like Augusti. Do you remember the NBA bubble?
of course, who doesn't?
Fuck the fact that there was no fans. Just look at the facilities and just look at the place there.
Gold.
Golf
Intimate.
courses. There was there was football pitches. There was basketball hoops. There was water parks. There was it was a theme park. Facilitate and hospitalize. I'd say is that make sense? What
1,000,000%. Make basically give them the best hospitality.
yeah.
Make it like you want to go there. Make it like it's paradise. Make it like it's the heaven in the Bible.
That's what I meant. Sorry,
Make it like that.
I meant like make it in terms of good hospitality.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you need some good. I'd say you need to get the players out there and have a good time. You know what I mean? Like, bond. Like, I'd say, because I know they're all rivals during the regular season. I get that 100%. But once it comes to the All-Star break, it's time to just put everything aside and just enjoy and hoop and have time. Bring like the players' families out there. Good spend some good time with everyone. This is why I'm saying the NBA doesn't market themselves well enough.
They need to market.
Why complain about the net ratings? People complain about the NBA net ratings are down. Why? Because stuff like this. Us fans, look at Augustia. What time do we wake up in Asia to watch NBA games? 6:30 a.m. in the morning. Even 5, I'd say. Sometimes early as 4. To watch NBA games. Why is that?
Well, I mean, I think that's. Sorry,
No.
I didn't want to interrupt you. Sorry.
No. It's all good, bro. Please go on.
The timing thing makes sense because it's about their local time, so that makes sense. But you're right, in terms of marketing, they have to market it much better.
Bring it to Asia, man. Like I said, bro.
All-Star game. Bring it to Beijing. Bring it to Bangkok.
It's not even All-Star break. Preseason.
Yeah, preseason 100%.
Bro, they've taken it to Japan and Korea. They've taken it to New Zealand. They've taken it to.
They should do what football does. Before America and before the Middle East bought it off, they should do where we go to Thailand for 3 days, 2 games maybe. Then we go to Australia. Then we go to Singapore. Then we go to Japan.
Yeah, and then
another team goes to England, Germany, France, Spain. Another set goes to Africa. Yeah, that'd be great.
Open more NBA stores worldwide.
And exactly,
not enough NBA stores there.
All 30 teams go on a preseason abroad. All 30 teams.
There's an MLB store in Central. Bro, I'm not joking. Siam Square, right?
I just went yesterday. I saw it. I was there yesterday. I saw it.
Siam Square.
Ekman, I was there yesterday. I saw
MLB store as an MLB store before
Dude, I was
NBA.
There. Yeah. Crazy.
But this is what I'm trying to say. They're not marketing the NBA well enough abroad.
So Ekman, what'd you make this idea?
And why do you think there's no more NBA games on TV? It's because no one hardly watches it. It's not marketing.
They need to decentralize the broadcast.
They only watch the playoffs. They don't watch the regular season.
But Ekman, can I ask you something here?
Please.
How about this? the NBA has to mandate all 30 teams go abroad for preseason.
NBA has to mandate. Sorry,
All
say that
30
again.
teams, all 30 teams have to go abroad. 32 teams. We forgot to talk about it. There's an expansion coming. 2 more teams are going to be added to the NBA very soon.
Possible.
All 32 teams must be mandated to go abroad. They must go to abroad for preseason. So let's say 8 of them go to Asia, 8 of them go to Africa or whatever. 8 of them Southeast Asia, 8 of them
To be fair with,
Australia.
to be fair with you, there is already a team that goes to UK. There's the team that already goes to
Who goes to the UK for preseason?
maybe Munich, maybe Berlin,
Yeah,
Cancun.
so do all the cities. Yeah, go for it.
Or like regular season games, like for example, in France, I think last season there was a Spurs Pacers France Paris series. It was a
No,
two
scrap.
games.
Wait. I don't want to be rude. Yeah, if you do an abroad, then yeah, you do it like the Pacers and Spurs, 2 games back to back, so it doesn't hurt
Yeah,
the head to head. Or
exactly.
the NBA Cup is abroad, or the NBA Cup final is abroad.
Abroad could be, it could be. But the thing is, they already do Vegas, and Vegas
Yeah,
is
but
a good
Vegas
place.
is
No, I think
oh,
Vegas is
Vegas.
it's a good marketable place. I think
No,
Vegas
it's a
is.
great. Yeah.
No, I think Vegas is good. I think Vegas is a good marketing place.
No, we're doing good.
Tampa
We're
Bay
cooking.
is another,
We're cooking.
Tampa Bay is another one that they don't consider. Tampa, Seattle, bring the NBA back to Seattle. What else? I mean,
Yeah, but basically, we're building something that's beautiful.
this is what I'm trying to say. Like, be more marketable. Vancouver, talk about bit of Canada, Edmonton, London,
Yeah,
Ontario,
sure.
Montreal, Hawaii, like I said, Hawaii,
Yeah,
Cancun, Bahamas, Dom Rep even. Try to go out to the Dominican Republic. Because there's some NBA, bro, there's some NBA players who are from Dom Rep.
yeah.
Al Horford from Dominican Republic. Even
Yeah, I mean,
I think Carl Anthony Towns as well from Dom Rep.
he has roots in Latin America. I'm sure. Yeah,
This is
but,
what I
but,
mean.
but
Like, represent your people.
yeah, I just think certain teams need to, at least a quarter of the league needs to go to one part of the region for preseason. That's how you expand it because nobody does that. No league does that. Formula One doesn't have that. Tennis has a whole season. It's a bit different. Football, they usually go to America, Gulf states, and
Formula
Asia.
One doesn't need to because they're already traveling around the whole world anyways. There's no
Yeah, but
point in
F1 doesn't have races in Africa. F1, but that's what
well,
exactly F1 is.
that's the point. They need to bring back races in Africa.
But but,
Yes.
but but that's the thing. F1 is doing a great job because they go everywhere. They're fine. But at the NBA, you can surpass F1 because
Oh
your
yeah.
sport is because the truth is F1 for all its greatness, it is a rich man sport. It is a super fucking expensive
It is.
sport to get into. The NBA, you just need a ball. You can even have a fake ball and you can have a hoop, a fake hoop, an indoor hoop. Kids from everywhere, from every economic background can play in it. So if you had a preseason where a quarter of your league went to Asia, Southeast Asia, a quarter of
Yeah.
it went to Africa, a quarter of it went to South America, maybe a preseason tournament, I don't know, just preseason friendlies, whatever it is, where players have to play. Then at tip-off, they come to the NBA. Then the NBA Cup with the incentives of extra cap space, a first-round draft pick, and also we had one more thing. What was the other thing that we had?
NBA
Extra
extra
space draft pick and something else.
extra draft pick and
Something else.
playing qualification.
Yeah, that's for sure. We can add that.
Or
And
home court advantage.
oh, sorry. Oh my god, the home court advantage thing. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Cannot forget that one. And then we
be more rewarding. That's the problem. They're not rewarding enough.
yeah,
I mean,
the rewards are the root of the problem. And the truth is, if you had a preseason where a quarter of your league went to each part of the world. You expand its exposure. Asia, Africa, South America, Europe. Then boom, the NBA gets integrated. And then you have a regular season, a 66/72 game regular season. You cut off all the back-to-backs. The NBA Cup becomes bigger than the FA Cup ever was. The winner gets extra cap space. The winner gets a first round draft pick. The winner also gets home court advantage in every conference playoff game. And then you head to the All-Star game. The winner of the All-Star game, each player gets $1 million. They're eligible for a supermax contract as well. And also on top of that, they can it adds to their Hall of Fame resume. And then you go into the lottery team instead of teams trying to tank to lose. What teams do is sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, like, you have to win an NBA championship first before you can consider yourself a Hall of Fame. Like, this NBA Cup doesn't really consider yourself a Hall of Fame. Like, it's not.
Oh yeah. No. I meant it puts you in for like a first ballot. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Overtime. No. Anyway. It's not alone, but I'm saying it's one of the criteria for a ballot. And then on top of that,
please.
No, you didn't interrupt. It was great. And then you get a All-Star. Then for the All-Star game, instead of having a meaningless All-Star game where players go on vacation, it is the pinnacle of competition with the financial incentive, and then the Hall of Fame, first-round Hall of Fame eligibility, supermax contract, and then the tanking stuff. Instead of teams trying to lose to get better, right? You're trying to lose to get a draft pick. Teams that finish 9th to 15th end up in the lottery tournament, which takes place the week after the NBA regular season ends. So then 10 plays 15, 11 plays 14, 12 plays 13th. Then the 9th place faces 10th place. The 9th place gets a bye. Then there's a conference semifinals, a conference finals. The winner from each conference faces off for the number 1 draft pick, prime time Saturday. The play-in determines who gets in the playoffs. The playoffs itself is normal. Boom, Ekavin, congratulations for a clip that you have. If you want to post it, I don't know. Exactly. That's why I did what I did. You have a winner. The NBA, Adam Silver, give us a 10% each because we just fixed your league.
Give us some equity, man. You know what I mean? We deserve something. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess have gone through hours and hours talking sports, talking, all that. It's 4:55 a.m. in the morning, and we're still talking about how shit the NBA is and how we can improve it. Because the way you've ran this, Adam Silver, you've ran it to the fucking ground, mate.
Yeah.
You've ran it to the fucking ground, and people like you. Get rid of the second apron rule as well, you dickhead. Yeah? How dare you come up with that shit? Yeah? The fact that he wanted to stop the Celtics from winning the tournaments, from winning NBA championships, because of your second apron crap. You wanted second apron, yeah? You got your second apron and you got your Celtics. But guess what? We're still second in the fucking East, mate. Yeah? Hold that. Yeah? I'm not talking about you, Auguste. I'm talking about Adam Silver. This guy tried to rob us.
I figured, don't worry about it. You wouldn't insult me like that.
This guy tried to rob us with your bullshit rules, yeah? Favoring 2 players that had no right to come up with this rule. Yeah, you know who you are. Grant Williams and CJ McCollum, yeah? You came up with this fucking rule, yeah? Yeah? you tried to stop Boston from trying to become better in the NBA. But guess what? We're still second in the East. Yeah? We're still second in the East. So you can do me a favor and get the fuck out of the NBA. And on that bombshell, anything more you want to add?
No, that was beautiful. Also clip that. But yes.
I will do.
What a stream.
Man. Just to look around the rest of the sports that we discussed. Or not discussed, but just to quickly go through.
Recap.
Not discuss, just to bring out the results. Sorry.
Go on. No, go on.
Carlos Alcaraz is the Australian Open champion. In the NFL Super Bowl, the New England Patriots fall to the Seattle Seahawks 29-13 in the Super Bowl. And that's it, I think. And currently the Cricket World Cup, T20 World Cup is happening in India and Sri Lanka. So that's really about it, people. That's all the sports in 2026 so far. This is the first show of 2026 All Out Sports. Expect more across the year. Expect more in each and every month. We didn't do one in January, but you know what? We wanted to wait for a lot of results to be done first before we could speak about it, or we could speak on it.
Yeah,
And
and no, what a great show. We talked about Man United with Michael Carrick, how Carrick needs to prioritize it game by game basis. You're just a coach. You're not here to solve the core problems of Man United, the ownership, the power struggle, prioritizing competitiveness over commercial. We talked about Real Madrid, why Florentino Perez, once his chokehold, his empire has completely transformed into a multipolar system where he is no longer the power player. It's Nasser Al Khelafi, PSG, and Madrid need to destroy their identity to open up to foreign investors to compete in this modern day environment. We talked about Formula One, how the new regulations designed for parity have done the opposite of that. Sure, they have had unpredictability, but at the same time, what they have done is created teams like Mercedes bypassing the rules through sheer innovation to win by the most dominant gaps. And then you have teams like Aston Martin, 4 seconds behind the pack, Max Verstappen calling it Formula E on steroids, Fernando Alonso saying he wants nothing to do with the sport anymore because it's undrivable. It's about engines and electricity rather than excellence from driver and team. And then we talked about the NBA, our beautiful talk, our 7 point bulletin on how to reform and revolutionize the NBA, solve the one problem that is plaguing everything from the NBA Cup all the way to the All-Star game to the tanking problem, which is none other than incentives. Ekevin, what a show. I enjoyed it. That is beautiful. Tune into Sports Talk for more brilliance like that.
100%, guys. It's been a great show. We will be back with some more of this. Don't worry. We're gonna recap the FA Cup on Monday. On Tuesday, I might be thinking of doing an NBA mid-season review show. Then me and Justin are planning to do the Celtics mid-season review show. NFL show just to recap the Super Bowl and recap the NFL season. We'll be there soon. Maybe tomorrow, maybe on Monday. But yeah, and the Premier League show will be on Friday. People, it's been a great week. It's been a great show. I would say a great week, but it's been a good discussion. Been a good show. Been a good discussion. I definitely enjoyed that, Augustia. As always, thank you so much for joining, bro. And obviously, co-host as always, man. You know what I mean?
Loved it.
Deserve that tag. But yeah, everyone who's locked in, we're trying to get to 600 subscribers. We're 57 subscribers away from 600 subscribers. If you guys are new around here, leave a comment, leave a like. Make sure you guys get 15 likes on the video minimum. And let's get to 600 subscribers. We're almost there, guys. We just got to keep on going. We're almost at 600. So I appreciate you guys for the support. Appreciate you guys for the love as always. And yeah, guys, anything you want to add before we go?
No, I mean, the All-Star game is about to start in about 30 seconds or in a few minutes.
I'm not fucking watching it.
I'm off the bed too. I'll see you next year for the new All-Star game that we made.
Yep. We'll see you guys next year for hopefully the Adam Silver's proposed what do you call plans? Well,
you mean our plans?
Yeah. Our ideas in place of Adam Silver's plans.
Yeah.
There we go. People, great show. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a good night, good evening, or good afternoon, or even a good morning, wherever you're watching from. Love. Come on, United. Peace.